the tradition.
Here he goes! See you later! And he's got it! Touchdown! Touchdown!
ABC Sports Championship Television.
On a perfect day for football in the Big House, Northwestern pays a visit on Michigan here in Ann Arbor. Welcome, everybody. I'm Brent Musburger. This is a very big day for Northwestern's football team. None of these players have ever before performed in the Big House, but it's a special occasion for Michigan, too. This is senior day, and out behind me, down that tunnel, 15 seniors are about to pour out with the Wolverines. A couple of very special players. Number 3, Marlon Jackson in the front row, one of the great defensive backs in college football. Here comes Braylon Edwards, the last time. The final home game for Braylon, Marlon, and 13 others. It's a special day at the Big House. We go to John Saunders in New York.
With less than a month remaining in the regular season, college football has become a survival of the fittest. Later today, we'll find out if the upstart Virginia Cavaliers have the stamina to hold off ACC newcomer and perennial powerhouse Miami. Others will see if Wisconsin can maintain the focus required to continue their undefeated run. Texas A&M and Texas Tech will test their endurance in a battle for bowl positioning. And others will be in the Pac-10, where UCLA and Oregon are fighting for their postseason lives. But coming up next, it's the Michigan Wolverines, who've shown that you've got to have heart to dominate in the Big Ten.
Aaron Card up the middle, touchdown Michigan!
Who will demonstrate the championship fortitude? We'll find out next on ABC Sports.
This is the Ford pregame. John Saunders, Craig James, and Aaron Taylor. Michigan is unbeaten in the Big Ten, but they're still chasing Wisconsin because of their loss to Notre Dame. But everybody's chasing Michael Hart.
Michael Hart, for a little guy, sure has a big load on his shoulders. He's been carrying this Michigan team. What a great running back this kid is. He's shifty. He makes people miss. He does spin moves. He's also got some jets, but he's like a little pit bull. He will run right through your neck. The thing that impresses me about him, 1 fumble and 220 carries, I like a guy I can trust.
Well, there are a couple of freshman sensations in the country this year. Look at Michael Hart compared to Adrian Peterson. Everybody really hears about Peterson and the Heisman. When you talk about the last 5 games, look how the numbers stack up between these two great young running backs. It's been fun to watch them play this year, but the thing that you have to know is that Michigan, they've got a freshman quarterback. And the fact that these two freshmen have worked together is unbelievable, that they've been able to carry the load without dropping off.
The Heisman Trophy is supposed to be an individual award, but ironically, because of the loss to Notre Dame, Hart doesn't get the publicity.
You know what, the fact that you just keep drilling home that loss to Notre Dame, I think he's sending a message over.
But I agree with you, John. There's a lot of things that play into factors that shouldn't be there for the Heisman.
We'll discuss that and more at halftime. Michigan and Northwestern coming up.
The Ford Pregame, brought to you by the next generation of Ford, built for the road ahead. College football on ABC will continue after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
For the tailgaters in Ann Arbor today, the cry is keep warm. There's a nip in the November air as Michigan and Northwestern get ready for an important Big Ten game in the Big House. Welcome, everybody, with Gary Danielson. I'm Brent Musburger. We've got a ton of offensive stars in this game, but Gary, you said, I think defense is going to win it.
Yeah, Brent, I love to talk offense, but I think it's going to be defense today. Northwestern has come off of 2 wins where they've shut down Purdue and Penn State 10 and 7 points. Now, they're facing a whole different animal today in Michigan, but I think a guy like Tim McGargle, their middle linebacker that makes so many tackles for this football team, has to stop the running game. If they do, they have a chance. And for Michigan, Ernest Shazor is going to be the ringleader with this spread offense. Northwestern's been good, but they've not seen a defense like these cats on Michigan.
Randy Walker comes in here with a Wildcat team that's been physical today, and for Lloyd Carr, still dreaming of a BCS Bowl.
Back here at the Big House in Ann Arbor, Michigan, where the Michigan Wolverines will add a new twist to their offense, fellas. I talked to Terry Malone, their offensive coordinator. Since the beginning of the season, he's had a special offensive package for Steve Preston, the sophomore wide receiver who thrilled us 1 year ago. But Preston has been lame, suffering from a broken foot, then a broken finger. This week, during the bye week, he practiced the best that he's done. And according to Terry Malone, he's dusted off the special game plan that accentuates speed. And he says, Jack, look for it today.
All right, Jack, as we check in on the Big Ten standings, Wisconsin a little bit later today will be up in East Lansing on ABC. They'll play Michigan State. Michigan, of course, pursuing Wisconsin. They lose the tiebreaker based on overall record in the battle for the Rose Bowl. Iowa and Northwestern still with a chance to win the Big Ten Conference. In Northwestern's case, of course, they need a lot of help. And the coin flip was won by Michigan. They have elected to defer, which means that the Wildcats will go on the attack first. And Randy Walker, we asked him what it's like to bring a Northwestern team into the Big House.
It's about us and how we come to play. And if you play with the kind of, assuredness that a veteran football team, which I think we are, and a confidence about who you are, doesn't matter where you play or who you play. And that's where I think we're trying to get.
But here it is, 110,000 plus. And for Northwestern, a chance to show what they have become as a football team in the Big Ten. And through the years, they've been very troublesome for Lloyd Carr. In fact, when you look at percentage against Carr since he became the head coach, Northwestern is #1, which is hard to believe when you go back a couple of decades ago. And of course, the Wildcats were then known far and wide as the Mildcats. The ball is on the tee now for Nienberg, and he will kick it off. At the goal line. 15, 20, got daylight out to the 33-yard line. Terrell Jordan returns the kickoff, and now Brett Bazinet brings the Wildcats out. He's thrown for better than 2,000 yards this year. Junior from Arlington Heights, Illinois. And our Outback Steakhouse starting lineups, and it will indeed start with Noah Herron, one of the best running backs in the Big Ten. There are 3 seniors on this offensive line, and it is a good offensive line as they get down now, ready for the first play of the game. And here is Herron, the corner to the 41-yard line, and down. That was Lawrence Reed, a member of this Michigan defense, the 3-4 base front. They'll also use a 4-3. They have to stop the run. They've got to shut Herron down in this game, and the linebackers have to read the quarterback. Lamar Woodley telling us yesterday that the key for him is to get into those pass drops when Bazinet comes up throwing. And indeed, they well could be the Big Ten's best secondary. Marlon Jackson, Shazer out there. Now it is second down. Herron again. He will not get the first down, and Michigan stuffs the run.
Brent, the challenge for this Michigan defense, they've played spread offenses the last 2 games. Purdue, who doesn't run much, and Michigan State. The Purdue defense held Purdue to just 50 yards rushing. Michigan State lit them up for over 350 yards rushing. Can't have that today against Northwestern.
Wildcats bring in Taylor as a tight end. Formation is strong to the right side here on 3rd down. Herron behind that side. Michigan stuffs it. Nothing doing. Ernest Shazer jumped in there to join the defensive front that time, and Michigan was stout for the run. They read run correctly when the tight end checked in for Walker.
Yeah, up front, these guys have to win the personal battles. Northwestern has a lot of experience on that offensive line. Over 100 starts in the Big Ten, but up front for Michigan, as you see Van Alstyne, who's really coming on. A great story for Michigan right there, injured and playing great football lately.
Was supposed to miss the entire season. A couple of weeks ago, came back needing that much. 4th down, and the first decision here belongs to Coach Walker. The play is signaled in from the sideline here. And now they will come out, and the punt unit will dash on to the field. Ryan Pedersen checks in to punt for the Wildcats, standing on the 30-yard line, number 90. And with the wind at his back, sails it to the 18, and Bruston doubles back and is down at about the 25-yard line. The freshman, Chad Henne, become one of the remarkable freshman success stories throughout the country, and there are so many this year. Wearing number 7, he's out of Wyomissing, Pennsylvania. 17 touchdowns. The Outback Steakhouse starting lineups for the Wolverines, and here is another of the freshman successes. Michael Hart out of Syracuse, 3 consecutive 200-yard game. Behind this offensive line, David Boz, the center, the ringleader, 2 seniors. And here is Hart on first down, plowing his way to the 31-yard line against this Wildcat defense, and the strength of it probably the front 4. Lauren Howard back from that ankle injury. He starts at 1 defensive end spot. McGargle, the linebacker, with 113 tackles on the season. Just remarkable. Backus is not starting. They put the taller Herschel Henderson in. Braylon Edwards, if he goes jump ball, they want a little bit taller corner. Backus also slowed by an ankle injury. And Avant picks up the first down for the Wildcats. I should say, let me check that, for the Wolverines.
There's no more balanced offense, maybe in college football, that can play power football, can spread you out and throw deep, can finesse you with reverses and screens than Michigan. They've been doing it now for 8 or 10 years, same thing every week. And you know, they got 2 great tight ends that are also coming on very good.
From the 37-yard line, Henne's first pass, they put it in Braylon Edwards' hands and let him run against a soft corner, and he picks up 6 yards on that first down pass. Now here you can see what Braylon Edwards has accomplished. He would be the leader across the country in the race for the Biletnikoff Award. He's having a remarkable senior season here in Ann Arbor.
He's definitely the pressure point in the Big Ten. You must stop Braylon Edwards to stop Michigan.
Massacoy powers it over to the left and whistle prior to the flag.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense number 72. 5-yard penalty, it remains second down.
That's Ruben Riley.
Yep, Ruben, a little quick start there. Let's look at what's going to happen today. Both teams win. Number 1 is, who wins the battle of number 1? Will the Wildcats be able to start Braylon Edwards, or will Braylon get off? Heron or Hart? Which one, the senior or the freshman, is able to establish the run game? And both teams like to control the clock in different ways.
Second down for Henne and the Wolverines. No score. Opening minute here. Henne with a 5-step drop, goes right sideline, and Braylon couldn't come up with that. He was defended by Marvin Ward, the senior from Landover, Maryland.
That's what you call a skinny post. Chad Henne has the arm strength to throw this. Real shallow post route. Watch, the ball is slightly behind Braylon Edwards. He has to reach back, and more than slightly, and Marvin Ward is able to come back and get the knockdown. Had it been on the mark, Braylon Edwards was scooting up for a possible touchdown.
And that pass was fluttering in the wind.
Sure was.
Yep. Massacoy's number 88, H-back look. Henne drops off the screen, incomplete, and Hart was read perfectly that time as McGargle jumped that screen pass and was all over Hart.
There's a reason you can lead the country and lead the Big Ten in tackles. You read plays quickly, and that's what McGargle did on that one. He saw it, he read his keys, and he was all over that screen pass. Had he not been there, big play again was possible.
Now we will see Backus. He'll return punts. Adam Finley back to punt. Here is the speedster, the pre-med student, shading his eyes. There is a nasty sun. He's going to let this one bounce down. Takes a Northwestern bounce, and it's down right around the 30-yard line. So we'll take a break. Michigan and Northwestern, no score in the big house. Last home game for some of the cheerleaders here in Ann Arbor, too. And Bazinet on 1st and 10 completes it over the middle to Ashton Akins, the senior from Detroit. And we asked Bazinet about attacking this Michigan defense.
We feel if we take the ball right to them and kind of don't stretch it very much, we can make some plays. Our front five are playing great. They're big guys. They're strong guys. And, after playing Wisconsin, I don't know if you can play anyone better than those front four. So, we're trying to run the ball at them, and, they play some man-to-man. Just let our wide receivers get the ball and make some plays.
From under center, the handoff to Herron, who picks up the first down out to the 42. So they change up from the shotgun to put Bazinet under center, and a power run for Herron, and the Wildcats move the chains.
Philosophically, Michigan does not want to be in a lot of too deep with two safeties. You're going to see Shazer, number 25, moving in and out over the slot and into the linebacker slot. You don't want to play a lot of two deeps against this four-man spread defense.
So the spread offense, and that play just looked ugly from the start, didn't it? And flags flying everywhere on all the movement by the Wildcats.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense number 60. That's a 5-yard penalty. It remains first down.
So Payman will have the yardage marked off by the umpire, pick up the flag. And Jack, you enjoyed meeting Bazinet over in Evanston.
Brett was great. And in fact, what was really interesting is to find out, as you alluded to at the beginning of the show, Brent, that none of these players have ever played on this turf. But he's been here before. I'll tell you about that in a minute.
Here is Herron on that handoff as he reads the defense. And they do not get back to the original line of scrimmage. Go ahead, Jack.
Well, it seems that Brett Bazinet used to come here as a youngster and sit in the stands, in the grandstands, and he said, back then it was the big house, but when he came out here yesterday with his teammates, he looked around and he said, so this is what it's all about.
Indeed, that's a pretty good road trip from Arlington Heights. So Bazinet, who was injured early in the season, missed several weeks of practice, healthier now, sets the screen on the flanker side, and Jonathan Fields is jumped by Marlon Jackson. Jackson was firing up the troops down on the field, Gary, before this one began.
He sure was. I don't think there's been any guy maybe in Michigan history in a long time that has grown more as a person than Marlon Jackson. He really loves this school. He's learned a lot, and I think his extra year here is going to help him be a better pro football player than anyone believes.
Just a shame that he was passed over as a finalist for the Thorpe Award. I know it's congratulations to Shazer. And Starks was passed over at Wisconsin. Arguably Jackson and Starks, the two best corners in this conference. Bazinet flushed out of the pocket on the move to his left. Comes back at the first down marker, and it is complete to Kim Thompson, the redshirt freshman from Inkster, Michigan. Well, Boston College, one last chance, John, at West Virginia. What's happening there?
Brent, as you know, winner of this game is in the driver's seat in the Big East. The Taco Bell update, Paul Peterson 10 yards to L.V. Whitworth for the touchdown as BC scores first on the road. Brent.
All right, of course, John, the winner of the Big East still gets an automatic bid to a big money bowl. Here's Herron for the Wildcats, slashing to the 44-yard line, a pickup of about 3 yards. Sarantis, the senior linebacker, making the stop.
Let's talk about that last third down pass from Northwestern. That's what Bazinet does so well. He can throw on the run, much like Zach Kustak that preceded him when Northwestern made their last run. Bazinet is very, very comfortable going to his left or his right to throw.
Now second down. First down marker just inside the 37-yard line. Bazinet getting time from his offensive line, goes down the sideline, incomplete. And good coverage over there by Marcus Curry.
Yeah, he better have, because I think they only had 10 guys on the field, Brent. And it was man-to-man, and he threw to one of the guys that had a guy on him. Somebody wasn't covered. Probably the quarterback wasn't covered. But Michigan is trying to substitute every play with a different defensive look, and there was confusion on the last one.
Now here's third down for the Wildcats. There's Herron on a counter look, and he's got first down all over it. Finally out of bounds inside the 15-yard line as they flow to the right and then cut back with the counter, and Herron for a 30-yard run before Burgess finally gets him out of bounds.
Same play that Michigan State hurt Michigan with a week ago. Northwestern picked it up in the film, come back with it. You see Herron doesn't have the breakaway ability to score on it. Same counter draw that Michigan State used a week ago.
Now Herron banged in the middle as he was trying to cross the 10-yard line, and he's down around the 11 or the 12. Let's take a look now at the numbers in the red zone as far as Northwestern is concerned as they march in for the first time. This, of course, that's scoring territory. And Gary, 68.8% touchdowns, and that's the best in the conference.
It is 16 trips, but remember, Brent, they don't have a great field goal kicker, so they sell out for the touchdown, and it's been paying off for them.
Second down. Bazinet getting great time, incomplete. He had his running back Herron wide open, and he missed it.
And Herron is a great receiver, and he'll let Bazinet know. In fact, he played slot a year ago when Jason Wright was the running back. The option has been good to Northwestern down here. That's how they scored against Purdue when they had to have a touchdown.
Spread the field with 4 wide. Bazinet is going to throw, and it is short of the first down marker. It will bring up a 4th and short. Marcus Curry, he stopped Fields on the play, and now the Wildcats are changing their field goal kicker for this game. We understand that they're going to let Howells come out and try it. At least that was the thought. And it indeed is Joel Howells, the sophomore. He replaces Brian Huffman. He will attempt this 23-yarder. So from behind the goalposts, and he nailed it. Good looking kick. The Wildcats, a 2-touchdown underdog, strike first in the Big House. The ABC Sports presentation of college football is brought to you by the new Chevrolets. 10 new cars and trucks in 20 months, an American Revolution. Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper barber. BU, nothing's better, Dr. Pepper. The Hartford Mutual Funds, official corporate partner of the NCAA. And FedEx Kinko's, your one-stop copying, printing, and shipping. So our Chevy Trucks scoring drive, the Wildcats moved 64 yards in 12 plays and carry that 3rd down, the big one.
Yeah, 3rd and 14, 3-man rush by Michigan, and Bazinet pulled it off for the first down.
Grant Mason back to return along with Steve Rustin and Brian Huffman, who lost his placement job, still handling the kickoff duties, and this one is short. And so here comes Mason. Twists, and he's down at the 27-28-yard line. So Monday night at 9 Eastern on ABC, we'll go down to Texas. It's the Eagles coming off their first loss in Cowboys. A couple of the very interesting personalities that you'll see a lot of pictures of. Terrell Owens, who's been in 17 Monday Nighters and caught 75 passes. Bill Parcells is now taking his 4th team to Monday night. He's 2 games over 500, but note that he has not lost with the Cowboys. They are 2-0 on Monday night under Parcells, and they'll see if they can snap out of it against the Philadelphia Eagles, who lost for the first time in Pittsburgh. Avon in motion. Short drop by Henney, who had time. Pulled down by Avon, his 2nd catch of the game, picking up about 11 yards on that play.
Nice read by Chad Henney on that one. Northwestern was rolling their coverage with a deep safety, allowing Marvin Ward, the corner, to gamble on Braylon Edwards. Henney thought it was man-to-man, realized it, came back the other way and made the throw. Brent, we were here early with Henney, and I said I thought he would be the most improved player in the Big Ten. He's improved, but Teddy Ginn is coming at him fast from Ohio State also.
inches. The one difficult thing for Michigan, the coaches were telling us, against this Northwestern defense, they're not apt to spread the field as much as they'd like with all three wideouts. They need Kevin Dudley in as a support blocker, which shows you just how much they respect that Northwestern front. Number 32, of course, one of the great blocking fullbacks in the country, and he is lined up in that eye directly in front of the freshman Hart. Northwestern with 4 down linemen against this offensive line. Play fake. Henne fires, and it is complete to Massacoy, the tight end, to the 46-yard line, and that will move the chains.
Man-to-man coverage outside. Braylon Edwards was going to go deep. Center field free safety. Watch what Marvin Ward does to Braylon Edwards off the line of scrimmage. Just stones him on the play. Braylon Edwards stumbles a bit, forcing Henne to go to his second receiver. Does it again.
Now Breaston stays on the sideline, too wide with the fullback in. And Henne directly back, steps up in the pocket, throws it deep. Braylon Edwards going for it, and he could not get past Marvin Ward. And John, what's happening with the Hawkeyes against Minnesota in the Dome?
Well, Brent, as you know, Iowa needs some help, but they still have a shot at winning the Big Ten. Drew Tate here against Minnesota goes 41 yards to Clinton Solomon. He takes it for the touchdown, and Iowa gets the first TD of the game, breaks a 3-3 tie. They lead 10-3. Brent.
And John, when you talk about improved players, Drew Tate, and Gary noticed him early this year against Michigan, and he's becoming a fine quarterback. Here is Hart, the freshman from Syracuse, and he is stopped after picking up a couple of yards. Let's check in on the Big Ten today. It's a fascinating Saturday and an important one. Penn State has fallen behind again, 7-0. Iowa, Minnesota. John mentioned the Hawkeyes still could win it. And then, of course, later today on ABC, Wisconsin at Michigan State. And then over on ESPN, Ohio State at Purdue. So get the clickers out, because this is a busy day around the conference. A lot of things could happen. Wisconsin in the driver's seat, but they can't stumble. Gary thinks they could be upset here today. He likes the Spartans. Here comes Henne, stepping up now. Goes to Breaston, who's in the sideline, and he is just short of that first down marker. Number 15, Steve Breaston, with a ton of speed.
But that was a remarkable play by Steve Breaston. He got a great spot right there on the end of that play. But Breaston makes a tough catch, gets his momentum under control, turns upfield, and makes a miss almost for a first down. Boy, that was a great play by Henne and Breaston. Watch Henne right up in the pocket. Northwestern does a good job in coverage, can't get anybody, moves up in the pocket, throws off balance. Now watch Breaston stop, make a guy miss, and fall forward. Good play by Breaston.
Arrington checks in as a wideout. Breaston stays on the field after that play picked up the first down. The ball across the 45-yard line. Edwards comes down to Henne's left. They stack Breaston and bring him in motion. Fumble by Henne. He'll pick it up and get back to the line of scrimmage. And a very heady freshman. He didn't try to do too much. Just get back to the line of scrimmage after he recovered the loose ball.
Michigan only has one loss, but they've been behind now for the 8th time this year. Northwestern takes the lead. You can see it's mostly been self-inflicted by Michigan. Their offense has been slow starting, and you could attribute most of that, I believe, to a freshman, first-year freshman quarterback. They get off slow.
Dudley back in at fullback. They offset him to the right. They Massacoy in motion. He's an outstanding receiver. Play fake now by Henne. Looks right side, goes deep sideline. Braylon Edwards, and he overthrew him at the 10-yard line. Braylon had daylight. Well, tomorrow, don't miss the 2004 MLS Cup. And that teenage phenom, Freddie Adu, and DC United are in the championship game for a record 5th time. They take on the Western Conference champion, the Kansas City Wizards, owned by Lamar Hunt. Tomorrow at 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific, right here on ABC Sports. I mentioned Lamar Hunt. What a remarkable story. Every time there's a World Cup, whether it's over in France or in the Koreas, he attends a game in every one of the venues. Just an amazing story. He was telling me about some of those plane trips over in Korea. They were something. Here comes Henne back now. Fire. Avant down, incomplete.
Henny off target again. Avant open, threw it behind him. He's missed Braylon behind twice, overthrown Braylon Edwards once, and now Avant on a bad throw.
Gary, I'm going to cut him a little slack with the wind. I don't want to alibi for
they
him,
got the wind behind him, though, Brent. I'm
he's
surprised.
just having trouble with that breeze.
That's why they've been a slow starting team. We've seen it before from Michigan, and Henny getting off slow.
Now Finley hangs it up in the air. Backus going to let this one roll again. And it's down at the 16-yard line. So Northwestern up a field goal. Will have possession.
You've seen Jeff Backus try to shield his eyes on the 2 times that he's taken these punts. Here's one of the reasons why. Here in the west end zone, right up over my shoulder, this early afternoon sun gets directly in the eyes of the receivers on punts.
Yeah, Jack, and Backus, many folks know the story. Very intelligent young man, pre-med student, not wanting to make a mistake. He's had a little bit of a Northwestern hop on both of those punts, so it's worked out very well. Here comes Heron into the middle of that defense, and Pat Massey, the senior from Brecksville, Ohio, had jammed the point of attack. So we asked Woodley about the team's goal here for the Wolverines.
Take one game at a time. Right now we're concentrating on Northwestern, then Ohio State next week. So if we finish these 2 games tough and undefeated, then hopefully go to a good bowl game.
Yeah, that's what the coaches preach, one at a time, and suddenly they trail it by 3 as the pass is dropped by Heron. He turned, and Marlon Jackson was closing in on the big running back. He wanted to deliver a blow, and he forgot to bring the football with him.
Yeah, Noah Heron is a great receiver out of the backfield, but that time he was thinking about beating Marlon Jackson before he finished the catch on the play. Michigan has been using a 3-man rush on 3rd down. This time it looks like 4 men. Lamar Woodley right here is the 4th.
Jackson shows bump and run on the slot receiver. And there are flags prior to the snap. This will go against Northwestern. I mean, Marlon Jackson came up on that slot man and said, "I got you, my man, man on man."
Offside, defense number 78 with contact. That's a 5-yard penalty. It remains 3rd down.
Let me check that. Gabe Watson. I thought for sure that it was against the Wildcats, but it was Gabe who jumped in there.
Yeah, Gabe gets his body going one direction. It's hard to get it back the other way. And now from 3rd and 5 to 3rd and 2.
A big difference.
3rd and 7 and 3rd and 2. Excuse me.
Now they can run the option. Bazinet can study the manpower. He can give it to Heron. Heron is jammed up because number 99, Pierre Woods, he blew the play up that time. Great play by Pierre Woods.
Curious call by Northwestern, trying to run wide against Michigan's speed on 3rd and 2. Usually in that situation, they run right up at you. They ran the outside zone player sweep. Watch it, and that's where it stopped at the point of attack. See, Pierre Woods does not get blocked, keeps his outside hand free, and makes the play. You're not very, very difficult to get outside the Michigan defense.
Now Pedersen with Bruston, hoping to light a fire. He's going to let this one roll down.
He thought about it, didn't he?
Well, I'll tell you what he wasn't sure of. He wasn't sure whether or not he'd signaled for the fair catch back there, waving his arms. And he said, what did I do there? All right, John, what's going on with BC and West Virginia?
Well, Brent, this looks like just a routine punt on this Verizon Wireless update. But DeJuan Tribble picks it up, stumbles, but stays on his feet and scores. 41 yards, punt return for a touchdown, and BC leading West Virginia now 14-0. Brett.
John, I'll give you a Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. Gary suggested it. Boston College in Massachusetts taking on the Texas Longhorns. Blue State against the Red State, baby, on New Year's night. And now Henny had handed off, and the running game is not doing much. Michigan's rushed only 4 times now, And one was, of course, Henney on that mishandled snap, so they've been unable to establish any kind of a run game.
Well, from Timmy McGargle, the middle linebacker, and this front four, Howard, Castillo, Clark, and Cofield, they have been through the wars up front. They got pushed around a couple years ago when they were young, but now they are very stout. They give up yards very, very toughly inside. Very stingy against the run.
That three wide package is there with Massaquoi. Henney gets protection. He throws underneath the Preston, who slips a tackle coming down the sideline. 1st and 10 for the Wolverines. At the 42-yard line, it is Preston on that far sideline. Injured hand and all, 13 more yards.
He looks like a different guy today. You know, Jack got the word from Terry Malone. We talked to him yesterday. Terry said that for the first time he believes Preston is healthy this year. Watch what he can do with the football. He is he slithers through those players and he makes a lot of guys miss.
So the first quarter comes to an end. Northwestern, its entire team, playing for the first time here in the Big House. But so far, not too many signs of stage fright. They lead it by a field goal. Wolverines on the move.
You're watching college football on ABC Sports Championship Television.
We start the second quarter with Gary Danielson and Jack Arute. I'm Brett Musburger. The Wildcats lead it by a field goal. Now Michigan, with the breeze at their back, comes up with a 1st and 10 on the 42-yard line. Michigan ran for only 9 yards in that opening quarter. Braylon Edwards is on the left side of the formation, and they're going to come back and try to establish the run with Max Martin. And he is stuffed. Very interesting to watch Michigan struggle here, trying to get the run game going. And from your point of view, you think they should pass to loosen it up?
Well, I think Northwestern, Brent, is really selling out. Price, the strong safety. Dominic Price is up near the line of scrimmage. And if your quarterback's not hitting your main guy, remember, my key today is Braylon Edwards. Who wins that battle? So far, Northwestern is winning that battle. Braylon has 1 catch for 6 yards.
Hart is back in at the running back spot for the Wolverines. And here is Braylon. Braylon crosses the 30-yard line. You can see how dangerous he is and the number of white jerseys he attracted after making the catch. McGarrigle back there defensively, making still another stop.
There are some players that are just difference makers, and Braylon Edwards is one of those guys. When he has the ball, or when you throw him the ball, he distorts the defense. They have to double cover him. They have to think about him all the time, and that will eventually open up that offense for Michigan.
Braylon Edwards goes to the sideline. Preston in motion, and Henney taking a look with the clock ticking down on it.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense number 8. That's a 5-yard penalty. It remains 1st down.
Avant, and that'll anger the coaches, Gary, when a wide receiver picks up.
Well, what happened is Avant thought he was not on the line of scrimmage, and he moved up to try to make sure he was up on the line of scrimmage, and there was already a man in motion. So 2 people in motion, an automatic flag.
And a 1st and 15 for the Wolverines. Down a field goal here. Dudley leading to the left. You could see him creeping over. Hart cuts back right. Got daylight. 20, 15, 10. Can he make the end zone? Yes. 34 yards and Michigan's first touchdown and their first lead against the Wildcats.
Watch what the running back sees. He follows Dudley. He's supposed to follow his fullback over here, but he sees an opportunity to get behind his great tackle over there, Lentz and Voss. He sees it, keeps his feet going, and that's why tailbacks are worth it. When they get it going and they see those blocking schemes, they can score points.
Great job by Matt Lentz that time, the senior.
And Voss, both of them.
Garrett Rivas. I want you to take a look at how Lentz and that other side of that line really sealed it up. I mean, that was simply a run to daylight. The longest touchdown run of the season. Mike Hart, 34 yards. Hello, Adrian Peterson.
Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, tonight 8/7 Central, only on ABC.
We are not taking a thing away from Adrian Peterson, the sensational freshman at Oklahoma. But folks, we are here to tell you there is a second freshman sensation running back in the country. Number 20, Michael Hart of Michigan. And his numbers compare very favorably with those of Peterson's to the 25-yard line. Roberson, let us now take a look at the numbers coming in to today's game, and you can see the comparison. Hart's been a one more game, and remember, he didn't get much work in the first 3 games. Now he's had more than 220 carries, 1,100 yards. He now has 6 touchdowns to 8 for Peterson. His longest run now is 1 yard longer than what's up there. And of course, Peterson had that electrifying game against Texas, which many of you saw. And again, nobody's any fonder of Adrian Peterson than I am, and one of the most ballyhooed young running backs. But Hart is having a sensational season. Deflected. Woodley gets in on it, incomplete. So number 56 rolls in on that play.
Well, Larry Harrison, number 96, also read the play very quickly, but Lamar Woodley is coming on. When you talk to Jimmy Herman, defensive coordinator for Michigan, he said Lamar Woodley finally gets it, and he has been a force about the last 6-7 games here for Michigan. He has been sometimes unblockable off the corner.
4 wide for the Wildcats. Heron slips out as a 5th receiver. Bazinet in trouble, has to unload it, incomplete.
Guess who again? Woodley.
Well, it's time for this week's Aflac trivia question. When was the last time Northwestern beat Ohio State and Michigan in the same season, and who was their coach? The Wildcats already in overtime have beaten the Buckeyes. They trail Michigan. But when was the last time Northwestern beat Ohio State and Michigan in the same season? Coming up now on 3rd down. 3-man rush, and they blitz Marlon Jackson. Bazinet gets it off, incomplete. It was dropped by Fields. Fields dropped it. Jackson was blitzing off the corner.
And it's one of those zone blitzes that Michigan loves. They blitz off one side, and they play zone to the wide side of the field. Bazinet thought it was man-to-man coverage. He threw short, but you saw Shazer right there to make the tackle, even if Fields had caught the ball.
So Rustin's going to try to do it again. And he has had a couple of slick receptions here today for a total of 21 yards. He's the leading receiver as Northwestern has to hustle the 11th man onto the field. Here's Preston back on the 30-yard line. Stopped at the 41-yard line. So Michigan with the lead and the football. ABC Sports presentation of college football is brought to you by Dodge. You can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. Aflac, ask about it at work. Smooth Bush beer and easy drinking Bush Light, and Sprint. The Sprint PCS fair and flexible plan for families means the end of ugly overages. So the Wolverines with a 7-3 lead bring it back against the Northwestern defense. See if they can move it again. Avant is out to the left. Braylon Edwards is now slotted. And here comes Hart. Picks up a couple more yards. So Michael Hart leading the way for the Wolverines. 4 times for 46 yards carried, now in 5 carries. And Gary, you made an interesting observation about Michael. He's getting into that record-setting territory.
It's incredible. I mean, he's doing it in conference games, 3 straight 200-yard games. And we were just visiting, and I'm sure we'll get some help from someone. Has it ever been done that somebody did 4 games in a row, 200 yards?
George Hill suggested maybe Marcus Allen will run a check on that. I'm sure the studio will get us up to date. Here comes Avant. Avant slips a tackle. Avant, and a penalty flag comes down. A 1st and 10. Avant dashes. We wonder if it was a reach-out face mask in that situation.
Probably an extra 5 yards added on.
Yep, there it is. There's the preliminary, and they'll tack it on.
All 3 of those Michigan receivers we knew coming in this year, Edwards, Avant, and Breston, you know, they're almost one-on-one and unstoppable.
Face mask. defense number 31. 5 yards added to the end of the run. The result, first down.
Quick throw from Henne, one-on-one. Okay, beat him. You know, Avon's a basketball player. He loves going one-on-one out of high school, right?
Yes, he does. Out of Carver High School in Chicago. Just an outstanding young man. Spends time visiting underprivileged children in the Detroit area. He has quietly done an awful lot of good here in the community. Now on 1st and 10. Play fake. Henne stands tall. Goes to Edwards. Jump ball short and incomplete. So that time, Edwards never got to jump up in the air. And, you know, we talked about Avon. Gary mentioned the fact that he was a basketball player. And we asked him, what does he miss about basketball?
It's nonstop. There's no, you have to go to the sideline so the defense can get on the field. I like being on the field the whole time, so I really miss that about basketball.
He doesn't like those coaches controlling everything.
Right. Go get the ball if you want it, right?
Exactly. Second down. Dudley, the lead blocker. Hart will be right behind him. And now he slices to the 36-yard line. And it'll be third down coming up for the Wolverines.
I really like that Michigan has gone deep a couple times. Massaquoi this time. Watch him come over and get the pin block this time on Pickens. That allows those big guards and tackles to get out there. Good job of turning it in. And backside pursuit makes the play that time. It was Castillo that got the tackle.
More and more, Malone and the Wolverines are going with the 3 wide receivers as they are here. So the offensive line holding up pretty good for Michigan. Henne, receivers covered. He takes off, and he is hogtied by Colby Clark, the senior from Austin, Texas.
Braylon Edwards got stoned again over the slot coming off the ball. Northwestern has decided to be physical with Braylon Edwards. That's where Henne wanted to go with it, and Braylon never got away from the jam.
So Finley trots back out to punt, and the Wildcats stop the Wolverines. And Bacchus is back deep again.
Got to use that arm over and get away from it, Braylon.
This one headed for the end zone. It'll come out on the 20-yard line. Bacchus, as soon as he saw that up in that breeze, he just took off and got out of there. 7-3, Michigan over Northwestern. We'll take a timeout. We are back. Gary, explain what Michigan's doing.
Look at that. Michigan's got 14 guys out there right now, and substitution-wise, they're going to look to see the package that Northwestern comes out with, and then they switch up. Much more experience with the spread because they faced it so many times.
And
now.
They caught Michigan moving around that time, and Herron is out to the 26-yard line. The Wolverines were not set defensively, so as a counter against that ploy, Northwestern on a quick count moved and handed off to Herron.
Yes, and that's exactly what they did. Everybody's used to Northwestern getting a read, checking off. That time they came up, called it in the huddle, and ran a little off-tackle play.
Here's Herron into the middle, and Big Gabe holding down the fort there. Well, earlier now, this was the Aflac question. Last time Northwestern beat both Ohio State and Michigan. What year and who was the coach? Folks, you go back to some great days in Evanston. Ara Parseghian. 1958 was the year. Guess who one of his best players was? Young Irv Cross. Defensive end and wide receiver for the Wildcats. Later went on a great career in the NFL, then broadcasting, now living in the Twin Cities area. And again, we get the Michigan defense, and Big Gabe, he's got ants in his pants
He
now.
sure does, and that one's for a first down this time. Must be Big
Prior
ants.
to the snap, offside, defense number 78. That's a 5-yard penalty, and the result is a first down.
Not happy. Now, including what's happened here so far, there's Michael Hart measuring up against Noah Herron. And it is 1st and 10 for the Wildcats. Bazinet in trouble, steps away from it, and completes the pass to the 44-yard line, putting it in Jordan's hands, and the junior from Georgia made the most of it, Gary.
Terrell Jordan, kind of a change-up from Noah Heron as Gabe Watson goes limping off, and that is an important spot, a matchup spot that the Wolverines had to win, the nose tackle. Let's see if we can find anything right here. Gabe's inside, spins out of it, and we really don't see anything what happens on the play, at least from that thing. But watch Jordan make a miss from Lawrence Reed and make a first down.
It's like they put Harrison on the nose. Bazinet of Northwestern fires incomplete. He misfired. He had Kim Thompson open, and he missed him. And Harrison has moved into the nose as we see Watson down here.
Let's take another look to see if we can watch the end of this play.
That's a previous play.
Yep, the end of that last play. He falls down and kind of whips his leg across. Now that might be a bruise or might be a hyperextension with that leg.
Second down and 10. Here's Heron into the middle for a couple of yards. And, well, the Texas Longhorns with that great comeback last week against Okie State. John, what are they doing today?
Well, Brent, they actually are trailing Kansas as well, but Cedric Benson maybe should get a little more talk for the Heisman Trophy Award. Great run here, 16 yards. Kansas had the field goal already, and a 7-3 lead for the Longhorns. Brent.
John, I second that. 5 touchdowns, that's what he had last week. Was it against the Cowboys? He is an outstanding senior running back for the Horns. Bazinet sets the screen back on the other side. It was naked over there, and the tight end is out of bounds at the 24-yard line. A good throw back to Taylor Jones.
A gimmick play. Nice call by Mike Dunbar, offensive coordinator. Gimmick play. The tight end right here will sneak across. All the action's going to the right. Only one man goes to the left. He falls down, gets back up, and then they throw it. Sometimes used on the goal line, but in that situation, dialed up for a big play on third down.
Yeah, 23 yards, Gary. That was a nice one. And here's the handoff now to Heron trying to get the corner. He crosses the 20-yard line into the red zone. And now it's time for the Pacific Life game summary. Heron, with this run, set up the Northwestern field goal. And they went up by 3. Then a 34-yard scoring burst by freshman Michael Hart. That's our score now, but the Wildcats are in that red zone. Coming up with a second down.
Northwestern has been very balanced. 14 runs, 13 passes.
They put 3 of their 4 wides to the right. Bazinet looks in that direction. There's the flanker screen now. Fields slips, dives for the first down across the 8-yard line. Jonathan Fields and Burgess, the defender for Michigan.
The spread allows the quarterback to check to some of these plays.
Illegal formation on the offense. Less than 7 men on the line of scrimmage. That's a 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. It remains second down.
One of those wide receivers. Now look, 2 Michigan defenders, 3 Northwestern wide receivers. The formation, this guy should be up to the outside. All 3 of them are back off the line, and that's why the flag goes up. 3 against 2. Check to it, you've got a mismatch.
A drive killer. And the Wildcats now with 2nd and 10.
Looks like you'll get some motion into here.
Here's Bazinet. He's going to run the quarterback draw. Back across the 20-yard line, and this will bring up about a 3rd and 5 as we check in down below with Jack. What's up with Big Gabe?
Well, he got a good kick in the shins, Brent, and he's walking it off. And I checked with the athletic trainer, and they said he's clear to come back out as soon as he gets some of the sting out of the front of his leg there.
Pretty good sized leg, isn't it, Gary? Huh?
Looks like his calf might have got kicked also, you know, front to back or how it happened, but good news that it's just a bruise, I guess.
Now here's that 3rd down. Bazinet fires inside the 5 and incomplete. Marlon Jackson with terrific coverage on Brandon Horn, the junior from Farmington, Michigan.
And in fact, if that ball had been thrown well, Marlon Jackson would have intercepted it. Randy Walker thought it was interference. Let's see if Jackson, who's very aggressive with the ball in the air, bumps him before the ball gets there. I don't think so. I think that was good play by Marlon Jackson. Ball was overthrown.
So So Northwestern will attempt another field goal with Joel Howells, 36-yarder. He's a big old rascal, isn't he? 6'4". 1 for 1 on the day. Blocked. And into the end zone. It'll come out on the 20-yard line as the Michigan Wolverines, Pat Massey, blocks the field goal.
Michigan's tall guy. Massey goes 6'8", and I'd rather have a tall guy blocking it than a tall guy kicking it. Massey gets his hand on it. Look at that penetration. Wow, what a play by Massey.
Terrific effort by Massey. And Michigan holds on to its 7-3 advantage.
Not far from this field, fellas, is the Ockler Field Hockey Field. For the Michigan Wolverines, it's an opportunity for the 5th-ranked team in the nation to play in the first round of the chase to the national championship. The University of Pacific is their foe today, and following this game, Brent, there'll be a second game against Michigan State in Boston College.
Yeah, it's a great sports school, Jack. Tommy Amaker's basketball team gets underway on Monday against Binghamton, win that, and they'll have a home game in the NIT, probably against Colorado. Here comes Edwards, his 3rd catch of the game, and he is down at the 26-yard line. When you look at Henny's stats, he's 9 of 15 for 78 yards, Gary. They're not giving Braylon Edwards a whole lot of daylight.
No, he's missed him. He's been open a couple times. He's missed him. He's underthrown a couple deep balls. The 3 catches have been a quick screen to the outside and 2 of those little stop routes. I think the Wildcats from Northwestern are thrilled with the way they've been handling Braylon Edwards.
3rd down. Edwards slotted to Henny's right. It'll be Hart running directly up the middle, and he is banged at the 30-yard line right there at the first down marker. I mean, he was drilled, and Roach was in on that along with Dominique Price.
Yeah, the safety, I think number 8 comes up there. Roach is right there, but Hart gets one. It is mostly from Dominique Price. 3-year starter, senior, he's seen it all. The bad times and the good times. 2 years ago, this team was giving up over 300 yards a game rushing. They have much improved on defense.
Follow the fullback, 32 back on the field on this short yardage situation. Instead, Henny says, I don't even need him. I'll just pick it up myself. And he does right behind the offensive line. Well, a reminder that the Capital One halftime show is coming up. John Craig and Aaron Taylor will have scores and highlights, and they'll fill out some of the recent accusations by Maurice Claret over at Ohio State. So that's coming up. You don't want to miss that. 1st down and 10. Martin's back in at running back. He'll follow Dudley. And Gary, what do the coaches think of Martin, their 2nd freshman running back?
Well, he's bigger than Hart, and he's coming on feeling more confident. We saw him early carrying the ball with 2 hands. He's almost tries to please the coaches too much. Listen, don't fumble, don't turn it over. But they really believe that long term, he's going to be the counter punch to Michael Hart.
And Mike checks back in. Avon's out to the left, and Edwards now to the right. Dudley stays on the field. 4 minutes left here in the first half. Play fake by Henny.
Same play.
Fires to Edwards, and short gain on that to the 36-yard line. And a reminder that tonight at 7:45 Eastern on ESPN, the Alabama Crimson Tide head to Baton Rouge, where they've only lost once since 1970. They'll take on Nick Saban's LSU Tigers. And a little defense down there. Nothing better than Baton Rouge on a Saturday night. Man, they're probably out there partying and getting ready right now. One of the best venues in the country.
Probably.
I was giving some of those folks the benefit of the doubt.
Oh, the slot is uncovered right here.
3rd down. Does Henny read it? Couldn't get it off, and he is sacked at the 29-yard line. John Pickens, the senior from Franklin Lakes, New Jersey, makes the sack for the Wildcats.
Michigan has allowed 14 sacks in the Big Ten. This time, a zone blitz. McGargle comes in, and coming off the corner, you can see it. Pickens is covering a man, but he comes in because his man is blocking to clean up on the sack.
Finley to punt it. Backus is again the deep man for the Wildcats. off the side of the foot, and Backus wants this one to roll dead, but it takes a little bit of a Michigan hop. Crosses the 30-yard line to the 28-yard line, and that's where the Wildcats will put it in play, trailing 7-3 here in the second quarter.
Plenty of time, though, and they have the ball.
Well, here is our Dodge defensive playbook, Gary.
Well, when you're playing defense, the #1 goal to stop Braylon Edwards, I said, well, the best way to do it is stop the guy with the ball. And this time, Northwestern comes with the blitz, they get pressure, and they put Henne on his back on 3rd down.
Herron has run 14 times for 68 yards. They set him with the screen, a good block upfield, and Herron makes it for a 1st down. An 11-yard gain, and the chains move on the pass. Mundy, the defender for the Wolverines.
Both teams have all 3 of their timeouts, and Noah Herron, we've been talking about him. What makes him so good? Well, he's got a nice package. First of all, he is big and strong. He's very nimble, though. Very hard to get a good shot on this guy, and as we've been talking about all day, great hands.
Here he is running after the reception. And he picks up another 5 yards to the 45-yard line. Woodley, the stop for the Wolverines, and we check in down below with Jack.
Noah Herron first came to Northwestern, and he decided he was going to try and emulate his running style of his hero, Barry Sanders. That wasn't up to the liking, however, of Randy Walker. Walker thought as his size, he should be a straight-ahead runner. They had a little set to, and Walker said, after 29 years of doing this, who do you think's going to change? Herron did.
Bassinet fires complete for the 1st down. Just across midfield, and he put the ball in the hands of Horn again.
You got to believe Northwestern is comfortable with these tight games. They've been winning these tight games all year. They're on the road, as you mentioned. No one has ever played here, and it's 7-3 into the half, and they have the football.
Bassinet keeps it, steps out of bounds to stop the clock. We've talked about Noah Herron, and we asked him about his best weapon.
Versatility. I can do a lot of things. I can run. Pretty good pass blocker, run blocker for Brett, even though I don't like to block for him.
Why don't you like to block for him?
Just mess with him. You know.
Those two have a running gag about each other. Jack said it was pretty entertaining over there at Evanston.
Noah's got a great personality.
2nd down. Bassinet fires complete across the 35-yard line. Wildcats with another 1st down. Sean Herbert, the sophomore from Maryland, makes the catch.
Nice little hide out route by Northwestern down to give up the 1st down. Look at their stack. This guy goes out, kind of follows behind him, then just breaks out. Very tough to kind of cover that. Follow. One guy gets a hit, the other guy breaks out. You get the easy pitch and catch. Nice scheme.
Well, Northwestern calling it a timeout, so let us check the BCS standings, brought to you by Allstate. And the Big Ten not getting a whole lot of respect in the computers, and that's why Wisconsin sitting in that 5 spot, Michigan down at number 9. It is just amazing what one poor half of football can do to an entire conference. And I go all the way back to the Michigan-Notre Dame game when the Wolverines let a lead get away from it. But it is also amusing to note that the Fighting Irish went down to Knoxville and upset Tennessee in that game. And so we shall see how the BCS shakes out. Tough schedule ahead for Auburn. They have a big game today against Georgia, and of course they're going to wind up in the SEC championship game. Oklahoma has to run the table. I don't think they're looking at much in the Big 12 title game, but we'll see.
You know, I heard this morning Chris Fowler say that there's only a 4% chance that 4 teams will remain undefeated. BCS schools. That's amazing.
1st down and 10. Bassinet going deep and incomplete. And Hall had coverage down there on Fields, did not give ground on him.
Little stutter route, and Leon Hall did not bite on it. Watch, Fields stops, and then he goes, and Leon Hall does not bite, cuts off the receiver, turns around and finds it. That's great coverage from your secondary.
1:02 left. 2nd down and 10. Heron motions out. Bazinet on the move, throwing on the run, complete. And his wide receiver, Akins, cannot get out of bounds on that far side, but they will move the chains, and that, of course, does stop the clock for him. So it gives him a break, as in college football, the first down stops the clock.
Again, Bazinet very good on the run, very accurate on the run. Quarterbacks in the spread offense must be comfortable throwing the ball on the run, and Brett is.
Bazinet stands tall, complete, and this time the clock is stopped as Herbert is pushed out of bounds by Leon Hall.
Michigan is getting a little taste of what Purdue faced on that last drive to win the game, the 84-yard drive called the drive this year for Northwestern. Bazinet able to dish the ball around to a lot of different receivers and keeps the Michigan defense off balance.
2 timeouts left for the Wildcats.
And they could run the ball here. Do not eliminate that possibility with 2 timeouts.
Second down, and Bazinet fires it. As a receiver tried to get out of bounds, he could not, and he is short of the first down. So now the Wildcats will use one of the 2, and that'll leave them with 1 timeout. We'll take a short break.
Big Ten football is a special tradition.
More than 5.5 million fans pack our stadiums each year, making Big Ten football what it is today.
So respect the game and show good sportsmanship, because the Big Ten sets an example for everyone to follow.
Before, during, and after the game.
Big Ten football. Good sports make great fans.
Well, in case you didn't notice, and it's hard not to notice, Big Gabe slipped back in. Jack telling us from the field that it was not a serious injury. As defensive coordinator Jim Herman, he spent last season upstairs in the press box. He's gone back down to the field. He gets a better feel for the defensive players down there, and says it keeps him in the game a little bit better. Jack?
Well, Brett, let's update you real quickly on that NCAA championship field hockey game in the first round. Michigan did beat Pacific in overtime 2-1.
All right, Jack, and here it is, a 3rd down for Northwestern. 1 timeout left. Trying to get a first down, trying to take a shot at the end zone before they kick the field goal. They'll go end zone, incomplete. Curry, the defender, no flag, as he had the wide receiver in the corner of the end zone. Akins was working in the corner, and Curry was all over him, and it's field goal time.
Bazinet throws the fade. I thought he had the short route open to the bottom of the screen there to the flat. You can see Akins was just trying to knock that ball down so Curry didn't intercept it.
Remember, Massey penetrated on the last field goal attempt. This one's 32 yards. Massey cannot penetrate this time. And Joel Howells has kicked his 2nd field goal of the afternoon. He's now 2 of 3 for Randy Walker. And Northwestern trails it by a point.
Move on, but the spirit stays with them.
A few weeks back, Randy Walker was hospitalized back in the Evanston area with a bit of a heart problem. We talked to him yesterday, said he feels much better, but he has to be a little careful over there on the sideline, not get too hyper about what's going on, and the doctors keep a close eye on him. The one thing that Randy Walker has brought to Northwestern, as much as any coach since Parsegan, is a toughness. You do not expect Northwestern to show up with an offensive and a defensive line like Randy Walker has developed over there. And it is because of the head coach that they are so much tougher. On the ground now, with the seconds ticking away here. Picked up by Preston. He's dangerous. Can he get a corner? Down at the 35-yard line. And there is an injured Wolverine on the field at the 45-yard line. 15 seconds left in the first half. Still plenty of time, Gary, for Henne to take a deep crack with Edwards.
This will be interesting to see. It's been the MO for Lloyd Carr to be very conservative at the end of halves like this.
That's Jamar Adams, a freshman safety from Charlotte, North Carolina, shaken up.
All you got to do is ask the sideline reporters if that hasn't happened before. But in this case, with a deep ball down the field, I like Braylon's chances. Breston feeling better. You can see the way he's running and moving and twisting and going through. Ball almost comes loose there. And he grabs it and holds on.
We'll see how deep the safeties play. They've doubled Braylon whenever he gets deep. Coverage up over the top. And they back off 15 yards from the line of scrimmage. Henne straight back is sacked. Taken down at the 28 by Castillo, the senior from Garfield, New Jersey. So Castillo, one of the tough defensive tackles. And let's go down to Jack as time runs out in the first half.
Well, Coach, you've knocked on the door, you've scored a couple of times, and that one missed field goal probably is costly.
Well, he's doing a good job. I'm proud of Joel. He stepped up and made a couple. We're playing okay. It's going to be. We knew it's going to be a long game, and we just got to hang in there. There's going to be some ebb and flow in every game, and we got it in this one.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay, thank you.
So Michigan, final home game for 15 seniors battling against Northwestern. We'll return after this message and a word from our ABC station.
It's the Capital One halftime show, and the Michigan marching band getting a lot more yards on the ground than the Wolverines have in their backfield. John Saunders, Craig James, and Aaron Taylor. Michigan has a chance to win the Big Ten title. They need a Wisconsin loss along the way, but they do not look inspired at all.
Well, first of all, you have to give credit to Northwestern, what they're doing out there. This is the third top 10 team they've played this year, so they're not intimidated by Michigan at all. They're out there playing their game. Noah Herring can run the football, so that's offsetting, more than offsetting, really, what's happening with Michael Hart over on the Michigan side.
I've been really impressed, John, with the way Northwestern's come out and dictate the tempo of this ball game. Northwestern likes to play it close. 7 of their first 9 games went into the fourth quarter, including 3 overtimes. So this is Northwestern's type of football game.
Yeah, Northwestern, when they knocked off Ohio State, a lot of people went, what? This is a pretty good football team. Texas, if they could play every year against everybody except Oklahoma, they'd go on and win national championships. Vince Young gets picked off here by Kevin Kane, though, of Kansas, as Texas offense really struggled early. But Cedric Benson, 5 touchdowns a week ago, gets another one today.
And he's not getting enough Heisman love out there. You know what? This guy scored tons of touchdowns. He's always getting the offense going when they're struggling. But Kansas on top of Texas?
Yeah, this is something I didn't expect. And this is a second straight week. Texas has come out and been a little bit sluggish, a little bit lethargic. I don't know what the reason was last week, but it seems, I wonder if I'm questioning whether or not there's a little bit of an emotional. They're spent.
Right.
They're spent. They're let down from the week before.
You wonder also about Cedric Benson because of that one loss to Oklahoma. You lose a game for the Heisman Trophy race. You may have nothing to do with losing that game. Suddenly people aren't talking about you.
You thinking about talking about him?
I'm talking about him right now.
That's about his only chance is if you get on his bandwagon. But, you talk about Cedric Benson, the numbers of touchdowns he scores. Every time they struggle offensively with Vincent Young trying to throw the football, there's one guy who comes and bails them out, and that's Cedric Benson.
All right, Boise State, a team that is making a lot of noise because they are unbeaten, climbing the ladder, one of those teams that people are going to be concerned about if they go undefeated. San Jose State facing them today. Rufus Galern hauls this one in after the defender falls down 14-7, and then Quentin Jones, 9 yards in the touchdown run.
I love the option, the reverse. A lot of times teams run this play when they have a defense that's over pursuing. It works to perfection there. San Jose State tied it up. Boise State not playing very well on the road right now, allowing San Jose State to be in this thing.
I like the way you stayed away from that San Jose State quarterback's name.
I'm didn't raise no dummies. 21-21 is the score. Let's go back once again to the BCS. Utah has dropped out of that top 6, and as a result, they do not get an automatic bid unless they get in that top 6. Is it fair? Boise State's another team. Should these schools be considered for automatic berths just based on their regular season schedule?
No, I think you really, strength of schedule, there's no way you can avoid talking about it. It has to be something you consider, and they don't play the challenging schedule. I found it's not like a little one of those records keep going around and around. Utah's a very good football team. Unfortunately, Utah and Louisville, schools like that are not going to get a chance to go out and prove it week in and week out. Kansas has beaten Texas.
Right,
That's an example.
And I agree with you, Craig. It's one of those things where they don't have the strength of schedule that the other teams play. However, football, folks, is a game of matchups. It's head-to-head competition, and I certainly think that one of these mid-major teams could come in there and upset some of the big boys if given the opportunity.
Oh, no question about that. They can do that, but on a weekly basis.
Right. Well, we might find out because Utah, if they do get in, their date might be with the Big East champion because the Big East doesn't really have a dominant team right now. West Virginia facing Boston College. Winner of this game holds their destiny in their own hands. Paul Peterson, 10 yards to L.V. Whitworth. Boston College strikes twice early after DeJuan Tribble goes 41 yards on a punt return.
Yeah, but you know what? This is a game where Boston College has been playing strong and good. Rasheed Marshall's trying to keep West Virginia in the game, but Boston College, pretty good football team.
And as you can see, Syracuse also still alive. They need some help, but losing to Temple, a team that's going to be knocked out of the conference next year. Iowa facing Minnesota. Iowa still has a chance. Floyd of Rosedale, the pig. Everyone's playing for that. And Drew Tate playing for 41 yards to Clinton Solomon as Iowa has a 10-3 lead. Iowa just one loss in Big Ten play. But Minnesota running into some trouble. Interception here, and Iowa's holding on to a 13-3 lead. And then Drew Tate goes 61 yards to James Townsend.
Drew Tate's completing 62% of his passes for 222 yards a game. The guy is on fire in the Big Ten right now.
He has a couple of touchdowns, and they have a 23-10 lead. Penn State Joe Paterno still struggling.
He better find a way to win. There's no way he can get blanked in the Big Ten, or it's lights out.
He's blank right now. Coming up, we will break down the controversy surrounding Maurice Clarett.
The Capital One Halftime Show. Brought to you by Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Low scoring, 1-point lead for Michigan at the half. 7-6 over underdog Northwestern. Our Pacific Life game summary, the first half stats. You can see that Michigan's been held to 45 yards rushing, and Gary, 3 sacks they've surrendered.
Yeah, and when you want to stop Braylon Edwards, that's a way to do it. You get to the quarterback before he can throw it downfield.
Michigan will handle the ball to start the second half.
25.
Brian Huffman will kick it off for the Wildcats. Mason and Bruston back deep. Bruston, the dangerous ones, over on the left hash. Bruston's driven back a yard deep, coming out. And Northwestern stops him short of the 20-yard line. Well, let's see what's out of whack here, ladies and gentlemen. There it is. We talked about the 45 yards, and Gary, 34 yards of it on one run that Hart cut back and scored on. So what's happening to this football game? Why can't Michigan run it?
Yeah, I think it's as simple as the Northwestern offense and defensive line are whipping them. I mean, it's that simple. I mean, Michigan cannot dominate the run. Michael Hart's taken out. When they try to throw, Henny gets sacked 3 times, and you can see the front 4 on defense and the front 5 on offense are winning this football game. They're not winning by points, but they're keeping the Wildcats in it.
Dudley, the lead blocker for Hart, and this time they've got another run, and guess who stopped at the umpire? Hart ran right into the umpire. And Jack, what was up with Coach Carr after the intermission?
Well, it almost sounded with what Gary was saying, exactly what Coach Carr said in the locker room. He explained to his offensive side of the ball, gentlemen, as bad as we have played in the first half, look at the score. It's amazing that we're still in this game. Then he sat everybody down like he has so many other times, Brent. He reminded them there's 30 minutes left in this game, 30 minutes of Michigan pride on the line.
2nd down and 2. Hart steps past the first down marker. And Michigan right away moves the chains here to start the second half, Gary. So, you know, a little bit more intensity out of that offensive line here on these two snaps.
Yeah, I think Northwestern, though, has backed off a couple times. They've kept their safeties back, looking for a deep ball. You will see if they think Michigan's committed to the run. Number 8, Dominic Price, will start to sneak back up and challenge Hennedy to throw the ball again.
They keep the fullback on the field. There he is, number 32, behind Henney. Run Hart behind the fullback to daylight. Hart spins close to midfield. Another Michigan first down.
Michigan sees 7 Wildcats in the box. The safety's very deep. Here's Price, the strong safety. There's only 7 in the box. Michigan says, let's try to run the ball. Hart says, give me the ball. Price comes up late, and then Hart just gashes him inside.
And another penalty against that Northwestern defense.
Personal foul, number 8 on the defense. Dead ball, personal foul, number 24. The penalties cancel each other. The down is 1.
Dominique Price of Northwestern's there. And
I think he might have missed the number for the Michigan player. I don't know who it was.
yeah, it could not have been 24, I don't believe. First down and 10. The ball is at the 47-yard line. And Henney with a 5-step drop, fires left far side, complete to Braylon Edwards, another first down. Joining us on the telephone right now from down in Indiana, where he's watching Indiana and Penn State, is the commissioner of the Big Ten, Jim Delaney. And Commissioner, it's a wild and woolly year in the Big Ten. We've still got 4 teams that could wind up with a BCS bowl berth.
Yeah, it's been a great race, and not too different from year to year. We've got a lot of good football teams, and they're playing hard as we come down to the season's end.
Got a play unfolding here, Commissioner, with first down. Henney is up under center for the Wolverines. Handed off now to the freshman Hart. Hart runs to daylight again, and he is stopped at the 28-yard line. Jim, I know the conference is experimenting with instant replay. What kind of feedback are you getting from the conference and from around the country?
Well, a lot of interest from around the country, from the public to other conference commissioners and supervisors. We've had a number of people come visit us. And I think the experiment itself has gone well. I think we did a good job preparing for it. And I think, we're getting about the number of reviews that we thought we would get, slightly less than 1 a game. And maybe about half of the games we review 1, and we're getting some turnovers. Probably about half of the calls that we're looking at are getting turned over. And the object is to get it right.
Will you petition the NCAA to make it permanent?
We'll talk to our coaches and our athletic directors. My sense is that there's support, but I want to wait to see that in season's end, which we'll do probably within a week of the end of the season. And then we'll go back to the Rules Committee with a recommendation. And I know that a number of other conferences around the country have visited with us or intend to visit today or next week. And a number of them are very interested in participating in an experiment if the Rules Committee finds it that we should go another year with it.
Here's the end around. Bruston breaks to daylight, and he is down at the 10-yard line. It'll be first and goal for Michigan. Gary, you've got a question.
Yeah, Jim, has that, and good to talk to you, Jim, has that instant replay kept the calls from the head coaches to the offense complaining? Has it worked as far as the head coaches are concerned?
Well, the coaches still have things to say because there are a lot of plays that are not reviewable that we make mistakes on. But basically, I think there's a comfort level that that there are calls that we can turn, and sometimes those are, possession critical kinds of plays. And so I think they're glad and I give them credit for pushing us on it. I think it's helped our game.
All right, Commissioner, we want to thank you for joining us. Certainly from Gary and my perspective, we think the instant replay has worked out
total success.
Very, very well. I mean, we're pleased with it.
We appreciate the replays that you guys provide for us, and I also appreciate the open mind and the support that we've gotten from our friends at ABC and ESPN on the experiment.
All right, Jim, enjoy the rest of your ball game. Here the Wolverines have a second down and goal from the 4-yard line. It'll be Henney handing off to Hart, straight ahead, end zone. Touchdown, Michigan. So the Wolverines, Gary, strike on their first possession of the second half, and I think it was just a little more intensity out of that offensive line.
Yeah, I could tell the halftime speech. Jack was right. On that drive, it was 8 runs, 1 pass. They just took it right up the gut against Northwestern, running that ball inside. And, you know, from Michigan's point of view, they might want to have Jim Delaney do play-by-play the rest of the game.
Worked out well for him, having the
Exactly.
commissioner as a guest, didn't it? Here comes Rivas for the extra point, and he tacks it on. Michael Hart, the freshman from Syracuse, bangs across for the touchdown. 14 carries, 100-yard day, and 2 touches. Not bad. Henny and the Wolverine offense with their most impressive drive of this football game. 9 plays, 82 yards. Nienberg kick it off. Bobbled at the 10-yard line by Jordan. And Jordan is hit by Nienberg at the end. And let's take a closer look at Bazinet.
My favorite food is spaghetti pie because it's simply amazing. The best book I ever read was Never Die Easy by Walter Payton. The music that gets me fired up for a game is Nelly. My favorite television show is SportsCenter because I like to know what's going on with other teams across the nation.
Synergy. Bazinet learned that word at Northwestern.
Modern day kid right there, isn't it?
Yes,
Sports
it is.
Day, Nelly, everything. Sports Center, Nelly.
Here's a handoff, and Heron cuts to the middle. Heron breaks the daylight midfield in a foot race. 30, 20, 10, end zone, touchdown, Northwestern. A 68-yard touchdown by Heron against a stunned Michigan defense. And Gary, you told me that he wasn't one of the faster backs. He was fast enough.
I asked him when he runs, he said 4.6. Well, he didn't need to be 4.5 on this one. The Michigan defense, no layers. Shazor up at the line of scrimmage. No free safety back there to cut off the angle, and he goes the whole way.
Howells adds the extra point, and just like that, the Wildcats jump back in it as Heron bolts the daylight. Man, you talk about climbing back in a hurry. And it's a 1-point game again. ABC Sports presentation of college football is brought to you by Verizon Wireless. We never stop working for you. Pontiac and the first ever G6, the next official performance machine of the NCAA. Miller, there's good enough and there's better than it has to be. Miller, good call. And City Business Card with real live small business specialists on the phone. Man, did Jim Delaney bring us good luck or what?
Yeah, you know, not only is Michigan's team, football players stunned, the crowd is stunned. They're right during that whole commercial time, there wasn't a peep out of this crowd. That place stunned.
Kickoff is going to be fielded by Bruston at the 1-yard line. Looking for that left return and a seam. Down to the 40-yard line. And let's go back to this touchdown, Gary.
Yes, here's Ernest Shazor right here, number 25, okay? The other safety's down here, but watch what happens on this play. Just a base running play by Northwestern. It's the zone draw. Now look, when you do the mesh, the end gets held by the quarterback right here, and then the wide receiver blocks Shazor, and he's off to the races.
With
one
that
cut, Thompson gets the block, and he's gone.
And also interesting with that formation, Marlon Jackson was almost on the other sideline. He winds up being the closest defender to get at Heron, but he had to come completely across the field, and he just couldn't get there in time. So great formation to run, and you didn't have Jackson, and Gary showed you what happened to the safeties as Hart comes back. And now let's take a look at the comparison between Hart and Heron in this game. With that 68-yard touchdown, Heron's longest of the season, he now has 141 yards.
You know, I pointed out that it was going to be Braylon Edwards, pressure point number 1. Pressure point number 2, which one of these two guys wins the battle? And it is a battle between those running backs.
They've scored our 3 touchdowns here today, a 1-point football game. Henny Gets good protection, throws to Bruston midfield. First down for the Wolverines to the 43-yard line. And Jack Heron went down over there. Did he cramp up at all after that run?
Yeah, Brent, he did. In fact, the cramps went away awfully quick when on the big screen here in the stadium they replayed his run. Noah Heron just looked like he did an ab crunch. Sat up, looked at the run, then looked over to me, gave a thumbs up. This Northwestern Wildcats team is very, very loose on the sidelines. They're not at all intimidated by the vaulted Michigan Wolverines.
Now the defense needs to stand up here. The Wolverines moved the ball well on their first series. Here's Hart now plowing into the middle, crossing the 40-yard line on first down. So at the half, Michigan led it 7-6, and suddenly here with 9:35 to go in the third quarter, both teams explode for touchdowns as Heron races 68 yards for the Wildcats, and it's a one-point game again.
I like the strategy of not going for two by Northwestern. If Michigan scores again, it's just an 8-point game, a one-possession game. I like the strategy.
Henny, Edwards, near side, twists, and he's held by one white jersey and hit by two others as Marvin Ward holding on for dear life and gets help. Chains move again.
Remember a couple of weeks ago, if you were listening, we had how to catch the ball when it's high. Put your thumbs together, watch Braylon Edwards. Ball high, thumbs together, just plucks it out of midair. The basics of being a wide receiver.
Michigan's offensive line playing much better here in the early going of the second half.
8 in the box on this one.
Dudley, the lead fullback for Hart. Hart from the short side is forced out of bounds short of the 25-yard line.
Braylon Edwards comes off the field that time, and Greg Colby, defensive coordinator for Northwestern, says, I'm going to put 8 in the box and try to stop the run. Here comes Avant, here comes Breston, here comes Edwards back on the field.
There is Michael Hart's rushing yards. Folks, to the left, games 1 through 3, just did not play much. Had only 158 yards, and then look what he has accomplished since then. Massacoy's the H-back. Wolverines looking, and Braylon trying to slip a tackle, and number 21, Brian Hines, the free safety from Lone Tree, Colorado, comes up and takes him down.
The flood route has been working for Michigan, putting 3 receivers to the wide side of the field. They've thrown wide, they've thrown to the flat, and they've thrown the stop route. That has been starting to give the zone defensive look trouble for Northwestern.
Well, here's our walk-on graphic on Hines. Safety with 64 tackles now after that last one. Sophomore comes up, makes the play. Another first down for the Wolverines, who haven't been stopped yet here in the second half. Henny, Bruston going down.
Another flood to the wide side of the field. 3 receivers. Terry Malone now, the offensive coordinator for Michigan, has found something. They've established the running game on the first drive, and on this drive they've established that you better start playing man coverage on us, Northwestern, because we're going to continue to flood that wide side of the field with our 3 big receivers, and if we have to throw short, we will do it.
Avant is out to the left, which is the wide side. Edwards is now the slot man. Dudley in as a fullback with the tight ends, and Hart straight ahead going nowhere, just pounded at the 15-yard line. Well, at the end of the game, we'll select a Chevrolet player of the game from each team. Chevrolet will make a $1,000 contribution to each university's general scholarship fund.
Michael Hart got hit. He had a little bit of a thigh bruise against Michigan State. He just got another one right there. Let's see if it was in the same spot, because he came off the field.
They'll line Preston up in the backfield behind Dudley. Obviously, they'll motion him out, trying to get a mismatch. Dudley is the protector for the quarterback. And he fires in zone. Avant, touchdown. Touchdown, Wolverines. A very well diagrammed play.
They call it the smash route. The wide receiver stays short to the wide side of the field. The slot man runs to the corner. Chad Henne reads it and puts it. Watch. Preston will stop right there, hold the corner, and Avant goes on the flag route, puts it up where just Avant makes the nice catch.
3rd and 4. Rivas in for the extra point. So on 3rd and 4, Michigan scores again, adds the extra point, and a little bit of daylight here on the Avant touchdown. It took Henne and the Wolverines just 9 plays to go 60 yards. Avant, who burned the Wildcats in Evanston a year ago with a great catch, scores here on a 14-yarder. And now Heron will have to do it all over again.
Boy, it's been, 18 plays this half for Michigan, 2 touchdowns, 1 play for Northwestern, 1 touchdown.
Nienberg drives it low.
That's a shank if I've ever seen one. Let's go back to the touchdown. Brent called it. Preston right there goes out. That causes confusion in the secondary. Watch what happens to the Northwestern secondary as they run the corner out. You see 2 defenders right here stay with Preston. Nobody goes to the back right here to the corner. That's the bust on the play. Henne reads it. Great design. That's part of that Preston package that Jack talked about early today.
Now with 6:48 to go in the 3rd. Heron is to the right of the quarterback. Not this time for Heron. No daylight. Shazer, he's not fooled this time. He just comes up and makes the play.
Yeah, last time Kim Thompson, number 84, got a good block on him. This time nobody even tried to block him.
Passing situation now for the Wildcats. 2nd down and long. Herman signals the play in from the sideline. Four receivers. Horn in motion. Bazinet wants him on that inside shovel pass. It's incomplete pass is what it is.
And if that shovel pass would have been on target, that would have been a successful play. Brandon Horn was open, but Bazinet puts it a little bit on the back shoulder this time. Actually, it was just bobbled. You look at it again, it was just bobbled. That ball should have been caught by Horn and should have been a successful play.
Here's a 3rd down call for the Wildcats. 3 wides to the right. Bazinet looks that way, comes back, deflected and incomplete. And rolling in was Roy Manning, the Saginaw, Michigan 5th-year linebacker. And we check in down below with Jack.
Well, Brett, Michael Hart did go off the field with a little bit of a bruise in his thigh, as Gary reported. Throughout the course of this period when Northwestern had the ball, he just stayed on a stationary bike, got his coaching from his position coach while he continued to pedal. They expect him to be back out there shortly. Yeah, Coach Jackson down there diagramming. Now the fullback will go back and he'll communicate with Hart about what to do. And Huffman is into punt.
That's a change, right?
Yes, it is. And here is Preston. Don't want to give him the daylight. A touchdown saving tackle over there on the 45-yard line with great speed. Number 15 was headed for the end zone.
You can see Preston's got his feet behind him. He's got his speed back, his ability to cut, and if Nick Roach hadn't made the tackle on this one, the linebacker, Preston was going to turn the corner and pick up 10, 12 more yards.
26-yard return, however, and it sets Henne and the Wolverine offense up in real good shape as they dash onto the field. They're across midfield. They'll work with a short field here, Gary.
Yeah, and this is usually when Michigan goes for the home run ball. After a change of possession, a 3 and out, they usually try to get something deep.
And Edwards is off to Henne's right. There is the play fake. Looking and going real high. Braylon jump ball almost intercepted at the 5-yard line by Ward.
That's twice in the same direction that Chad Henne has thrown the ball short. Braylon Edwards is going to try to get outside Ward on this play. Now, if the ball, you can see as Ward puts his hand out twice, but the ball really wasn't deep enough for Edwards even to jump for it.
He has a very high arc.
Yes.
On his ball.
And he kind of is taught that way, but he must be waiting a tenth too long to throw it.
Yeah. Second down. And timeout called by Henne and the Wolverines. So a reminder now, big one coming your way from East Lansing. Wisconsin goes in to play Michigan State. Wisconsin will need a win to keep driving toward Pasadena or perhaps even Miami. And a reminder now, if you want all the scores and news, search college football on ESPN.com. I mean, man, there's nothing like the computer if you're looking for scores, is there? I mean, this is the greatest thing on Saturday, Sunday. And I got to have that computer. I'll see you guys later.
Your computer and satellite radio, you don't have to have anything else in the world, right?
I got that Sirius. I go down the highway tonight. Jack and I will be listening to them other games. Jack's even got a show on Sirius. Am I going to hear it on the way to the airport, Jack?
Well, no, Brent, but you'll hear it tomorrow night when we talk about the NFL. But let me talk to you a moment about Steve Preston. We've seen how multi-talented he is. He's got a spring and a step back. Did you know that the first time that he played wide receiver in high school was his last game right here? It was an all-star game and out of Pennsylvania, and he played in the Big 33 All-Star Classic. First time he ever played anything other than quarterback. He loved it so much. Guess what Michigan starts to use him now for?
Way to go, Jack. Way to go, Jack. We saw that in 15 meetings before we got it up on the air.
Now remember, the flood route to this wide side, the bottom side of the field has been working for Michigan the last drive. They put a guy deep, corner, and somebody to the flat, and that has been working for Michigan.
Second and 10 for Henne and the Wolverines. Throws the screen to Avant. Avant looking daylight, spins, and to the 31-yard line.
The wide side of the field passing game has been working, and Avant is getting off again.
And Avant, we mentioned, Gary, last year's catch, and speaking of ESPN, SportsCenter made a living off of this catch. Yeah. I mean, it is a beautiful one-handed catch. He has a basketball player's hand, and look at this mitt.
Yeah.
Bingo. And he's just a wonderful, wonderful young man.
Special receivers, 3 of them for this Michigan team.
Preston on that end around. Hart throws a great block. Preston spins. First down as he crosses the 20. But I mean, young Mike Hart, he threw a devastating block over there.
He got Brian Hines, and he did it the way he's taught. When you come out on those sweeps, you're supposed to throw for the outside leg. Watch Hart, top of your screen. Outside, right through that inside leg, pops through it. Preston spins off of it. Michael Hart, special football player, and a year ago, playing high school football.
Avant goes to the sideline. Arrington checks in as the wide receiver along with Gonzalez. Dudley's the fullback. And it's Hart's turn. Slips to daylight to the 15-yard line. Picks up about 4 yards on that. It'll be second down coming up for the Wolverines. McGarrigle makes the tackle. Gary, what's your impression of McGarrigle? Because I haven't mentioned him all that often.
Just was going to say that. See, this is a type of a team, Michigan, with the 3 wide receivers and the multi-attack, that Timmy has a much tougher time making an impact on a game like this.
Would Jack say his nickname was the Angry Irishman?
He might be angry now. Run the ball at me.
Second down. Here's the draw. Hart, daylight, slips, heads, end zone. Give him 3 touchdowns on the day. Here is Mike Hart. He may not win the Heisman, and he might wind up the freshman running back of the year. 15 yards.
You know, and Brent, he's also making a run at MVP of this conference now, the way he's doing it. I mean, he has changed the Michigan offense.
Rivas. And suddenly, Michigan leads it by 15. 3 possessions this half and 3 touchdowns for the Wolverines.
I know, and I think the total half, I think Northwestern has a 3 and out and a touchdown. 4 plays. We talked about Timmy McGargle. Well, meet Chris Dudley. Dudley finds the middle linebacker and number 32. He deserves a touchdown, number 32, doesn't he?
The players on Michigan call 32 the detonator. All in practice, they say, way to go, detonator. And number 32 just detonated the middle linebacker. That's why we haven't heard the middle linebacker's name probably most of the day.
Brent, I think Terry Malone, the offensive coordinator for Michigan, is having a terrific second half. He has been keeping Northwestern off balance with the flat passes, the screen passes. They started out power up the middle. They ran the reverse, kept the defense off balance.
Hart is at 135 yards now, and this kickoff will be returned by Jordan again, and he is well short of the 20-yard line, and Jack Hart again having a great day.
Yeah, but Brent, did you know he can play defense as well?
Really?
Oh, yeah, he played defense in high school. Oh, wait a minute, it was my mistake. It was on the hoop squad. Look at that steal. He led his team at Onondaga Central High with 5 steals a game. Multi-talented kid.
Yeah, he is. Jack, you should have been whistled for a foul on that one.
Yeah.
Bazinet and the Wildcat offense now with their work cut out. He'll set the screen with Heron. Right side, and Jackson hanging on. Gets help. Marlon Jackson slowed him up enough, and he gets help from Lawrence Reed. Bazinet was asked about the personality of the NU offense.
So I think we're more kind of hang loose, just kind of go with the flow and get it done. You know, we don't really get on each other when something goes wrong. We just know we'll bounce back to it, and you know, we need to line up the mood in the huddle by telling jokes or doing this or that. You know, that's what we'll do.
Time to line up and get it done because the Wolverines are taking it to him here in the second half. Bazinet and complete to the 35-yard line for a 1st and 10. Kim Thompson, the receiver. We check in with John in New York.
Brenton, the singular All-America Player of the Week. It could be this man. Lawrence Maroney, 14 carries, 138 yards. To vote, text the word player to 64444 on your cell phone or log on to ESPN.com, keyword singular. Brent.
Shannon, I thought you were going to show me the Gophers ahead. Here's the end around now for the Wildcats, but Michigan not fooled too much, although it's out to the 42-yard line. And that's a pretty good gain in that situation by Fields.
You can tell that the defensive ends and outside linebackers for Michigan have been schooled all week to stay wide, to not bite on those plays and expect something, either a bootleg or an option coming back to them.
And shaken up on the play right now is Ryan Mundy, the free safety. He's down. So we want to remind you the time permitting the Thrifty Carvana postgame report with John, Craig, and Aaron. Stay tuned for highlights and analysis from today's matchups. Now, I got to ask you, how can my guy, John, run Maroney back at me when the Gophers are losing? I got a kid here who's got 135 and 3 touchdowns. Now, you suppose he's running Mike Hart at everybody else? Is that what they're doing in New York?
Yep, well, could be.
You suppose?
Could be.
Well,
it was a good play. Long run. You know, Maroney is one of the 4 top backs in the league this year. We all know that. We got the Davis over there at Wisconsin and the 2 backs here. There's 4 great ones.
Second down and short for Bazinet and the Wildcats. Here's Heron. Very close to the first down, but I think he's just a little bit short of the yellow line there, isn't he, on your screen?
Yeah, Big Gabe had him that time.
This is an ABC News special report.
Hello, everyone. I'm Bob Woodruff in New York. We interrupt your programming briefly to let you know that Vice President Cheney has been taken to a Washington area hospital today. After experiencing shortness of breath, his doctors were concerned it could be an indication of heart trouble. The Vice President's spokesperson now says Mr. Cheney is doing fine and that his latest EKG tests were normal. A spokesman for George Washington University Hospital said the symptoms could also be the result of a cold. Mr. Cheney has a history of heart trouble. He suffered 4 heart attacks and underwent coronary bypass surgery, among other procedures. In 2001, he had a pacemaker installed. The 63-year-old Cheney campaigned heavily for President Bush's re-election. Again, he is in the hospital today. No word exactly on his condition. Stay tuned with ABC News throughout the day and also abcnews.com. I'm Bob Woodruff in New York.
For continuing coverage of this story, stay with ABC News, abcnews.com, and ABC News Radio. This has been a special report from ABC News.
Northwestern just completed a pass to the 40-yard line, a penalty against Michigan being declined. So the Wildcats with a 17-yard gain on a pass from Bazinet to Kim Thompson move the chains, and it will be first down for Northwestern. Again, our score here is 28-13. Bazinet pulls it out on the fake, goes far side, complete. Ball was down, and then coming back to pick it back up was Horn immediately.
You know, the Northwestern receivers, 3 of them, number 84, Kim Thompson, number 2, Ashton Akins, and number 5, Brandon Horn, who just caught that pass, are all Detroit Country Day products. Played high school ball here, a suburb of Detroit. Of course, now playing against a team that they all watched growing up in high school.
Second down. Heron, no first down that time because of a fine play by big Gabe Watson.
Trevor Reese, number 50, the center for Northwestern, goes about 275, 280. Gabe Watson, they list as 335. He's probably 350 if he's a pound.
Alex O'Feely replaces Gabe,
who's still limping a bit when he has to kind of get it in gear.
Third down and 4. Obviously, this is becoming 4-down territory for the Wildcats. They'd like to pick it up right here. And they get it right at the mark. Stepping out is Heron, the running back, on the pass from Bazinet. So it'll be first down for the Wildcats inside the 30-yard line.
We talked about how comfortable he is catching the ball. You'll see a little rub play. 2 receivers here, and then Heron goes right off their tail ends for an easy throw. Watch this. Little pick play to the outside. 2 receivers, throw it out there, and look how comfortable Noah is with the ball in the air.
Bazinet looks to his left and incomplete, and Horn was being covered by Marlon Jackson. And Jackson is just a shut-down defensive back, folks. You get no mileage attacking number 3.
He's very physical at the line of scrimmage. If you're going to beat Marlon Jackson, you better be ready to beat him at the line of scrimmage because he gets his hands on you.
Last minute of the third quarter. Wildcats looking at 2nd and 10. Thompson is off to the right. Heron's going to throw it back and could not get it away. He was tackled. Van Alstyne came in and took him down. It was a throwback to the quarterback Bazinet, who had slipped out on the right side, and Heron couldn't get daylight because of big number 50.
Number 50 and number 56, Brent. Lamar Woodley played his keys. He took Bazinet, and there was nowhere for that ball to be thrown. Woodley read his key. Watch 56 right here. He doesn't see any action. Now watch him stay home. He sees the quarterback, and there's nowhere even to throw that ball away.
Final seconds of the third quarter tick away, and Northwestern wants the wind at its back. They will let it run out. Michigan dominates the third quarter. And ABC Sports presentation of college football returns after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Third and 19 coming up for the Wildcats, who were outscored 21-7 in that third quarter. They'll throw the screen to Thompson, and he's short of the 30-yard line, well defended by the Wolverines. So if we go back and look at what Michigan did offensively, Gary, in that third quarter, Chad Henne He's been a remarkable second-half quarterback. 3 comebacks alone in the fourth quarter, and he dominated here.
He was 6 for 7 so far. He missed a long one to Braylon Edwards, but when he starts to get comfortable playing football, you can see what his future is. I mean, he for 3 more years, 2 at least, we're going to be seeing this guy play football.
Wildcats have decided to punt, and Ryan Peterson, may have called him Pedersen once incorrectly in the first half, so let me correct that. It is Peterson. Spelled with the D, pronounced Peterson. And
delay a game?
Yeah, we've got delay a game.
The backup quarterback, Maleo, was in the game right there. And he was the one that really didn't see the game clock. This is kind of a gimmick punt formation here for Northwestern.
Sometimes when you face a dangerous return man like Breaston, it is not unwise to go ahead and punt it into the end zone. I know those coaches want to try to drop that ball down inside the 10, and we'll see if he can hang it high here or go for the coffin corner.
See, Maleo comes up under center, the backup quarterback. Then he backs up. The punter's only at about 8 yards. It's like a quick kick.
They're going to run a play. They're going to throw back, and it's knocked right out of his hand.
That was too big
Ball
of a
is
gamble.
recovered at the 46. Lamar Woodley rolling in from the backside. He hit him and knocked the football loose. I don't know what you really gain on that.
No, that was too big of a gamble, especially.
The ball was recovered by Northwestern. The ball goes over on downs to Michigan. First down.
Michigan had their defense safe in there on this play. Everyone saw, including me, that the backup quarterback was in, and you could see that this was just a prayer and a hope. And I think Northwestern would have been better off trying to pooch that ball down there.
Yeah, I agree. So Henney and the Wolverines with the lead and the football now near midfield.
Man-on-man coverage on Braylon out there.
And they're coming right back to Hart, who's hit at the point of attack and still picks up a couple of yards. Let's check in around the conference right now. Indiana in the third quarter leading Penn State 13-7. Iowa still ahead of Minnesota now in the fourth. And still to come, Wisconsin at Michigan State here on ABC. And over on ESPN, Ohio State against Purdue. And Gary, what's gone wrong with Purdue?
2 teams reeling right there. Ohio State's winning on the field, but all the distractions off. And Purdue, it looks, you lose a quarterback, get a hip injury, and all of a sudden that spread offense doesn't look so good.
Henney wants to set the screen, did it with Hart. Coming down the left sideline, and Hart out of bounds at the 34-yard line. The freshman running back who has shown us that he is an excellent receiver. That's for 20 yards. Now, down at Oklahoma, they do not throw the ball to Adrian Peterson.
Well, I don't know why, because remember when Quentin Griffin was there, they used to throw it to him. It looks like so far early in his career, Hart is more comfortable catching the ball. Adrian Peterson, they just said, hey, we got plenty of receivers. Let's just you run it.
Edwards will be the motion receiver. Kind of stops over the right side, and Hart slashes. Driven down at the 27-yard line, and Mike Hart with 142 yards now, 60 away from another 200-yard game. There are the leaders here for the Wolverines.
Boy, has he come on, huh?
Amazing. Avon caught the touchdown pass.
Braylon Edwards limping off the field right now. Looked like maybe somebody rolled up on his foot on that one because he was blocking at the point of attack.
So Gonzalez checks in as the wideout. Dudley, the fullback, coming back with Martin, who has replaced Hart at the 25-yard line, and it will be third down and about 3.
It's almost a must stop for the Northwestern defense right now. The game is still within reach. One more score by Michigan, and it'll be very, very tough for them to come back.
Arrington in from the sideline. Rustin is on the field. And Hart returns as the running back. Third down and 3.
And with Braylon on the sideline, you wonder.
Dudley's not on the field. Ecker would be the lead block if they go with Hart on the draw, which they do. Hole jam, spin, got it across the 20. What a nifty run by Mike Hart. Hole was jammed. He simply did the full spin and came out on the left side.
That's an amazing run. All his momentum was taking him to his right, and he spins back to his left on his left foot to get away from Dominique Price. What a play. What a football player. That number 20 in this city has been, that move looked familiar before.
Now Martin in as the running back. He'll run behind Dudley to daylight. They come back with the Alabama freshman to the 11-yard line, and Nick Roach.
Let's see if you can see what happened to Braylon Edwards. He's in the middle of the screen right here. Let's see if somebody falls on his feet from behind. He's pushing, looks okay, and then just kind of pulls up lane. Nobody really hit him at all.
He's back on the field right now. He is out to the right. Braylon Edwards. Braylon splits out far to the right. Dudley back in as fullback. Martin is the running back. If they got one-on-one, they're going to go to Braylon. And here comes Martin. Martin to the 10, and it will be third down coming up right now. And, you know, there is a young man down on the field who has not scored a touchdown after being a very prolific touchdown machine in high school, and that is the fullback that we talk so much about, Kevin Dudley. He's out of Brookville, Indiana.
One more first down and he might be the point of attack.
Hart. Braylon goes in motion. Here's Henney. Whips it to the right. Preston reaches, touchdown. Got the ball across the pylon to the end zone for another Wolverine touchdown, and now Michigan starting to pull away. The instant replay official upstairs will take another look at this just to make sure.
Inside technique, man-to-man, very difficult near the goal line to play off. Any defensive back will tell you as Braylon reaches it back in, clearly a touchdown, that playing off near the goal line is very, very difficult duty.
Now Rivas for the extra point. And the Wolverines come out smoking in the second half. 4 possessions and 4 touchdowns. This, the last one. The second touchdown pass of the game for the freshman Chad Henney. Yeah, this is putting the Pontiac Drive summary in high gear here, Gary. This is impressive.
Yeah, you know, I'd like to hear that speech at halftime, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Lloyd should start trying it before the game starts. Michigan a little bit sluggish in the first half this season. Roberson on the run. And makes his way out almost to the 30-yard line.
Interesting article in the Detroit papers. One of the local writers said that Michigan needs to get that insurmountable deficit a little bit earlier in the game so they can come back. And again, they come from behind in this football game. Not terribly behind, really, for all intents and purposes. So far, Northwestern has had one big offensive play, and you're going to get yards from this spread, but Michigan's defense has been sharp.
Incomplete. Burgess was lurking there defensively in the middle on Fields.
You got to think that Northwestern misses Mark Fillmore, their game-breaking receiver. He got hurt in that Purdue game, and they look like they're missing a big play from the wide receivers, and they don't have it.
Second down and 10 for the Wildcats. Bazinet's inside shuttle is incomplete, and man, that was thrown to darkness on that one.
It was again supposed to be going inside there to Horn, but that was nowhere even near. Michigan's outside linebackers are having a great football game. They are not going for the fakes. They are staying wide. The bootleg and the option game has been handled by Manning and Woodley the whole game.
Like we said at the top of the broadcast, they have to read the quarterback, and as Gary pointed out, doing an excellent job.
That one didn't look
4
good
down.
either. Noah Herron broke up field. Another Michigan native, Noah Herron from Mattawan, Michigan.
Kalamazoo, is that where you told me?
Right near Kalamazoo, yes.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense, number 33. That's a 5-yard penalty. It remains third down.
So here is Herron. He's had the big play for the Wildcats. Caught screen passes. He's been very versatile here today. And now Bazinet incomplete. And so Michigan shuts him down, and it'll be 4th and long, and nothing going Northwestern's way right now.
What's happening with Michigan's defensive backs, they're starting to feel, just like in the Purdue game, that Northwestern doesn't have the speed to go deep. They are clamping on everything short, and they just don't fear the deep ball from Northwestern.
Rustin.
No, Michigan needs to call a timeout here. They are confused. Did they get it right? Yeah, they got it right.
Yeah.
It's Chinese fire drill for a second.
Huffman still in punting. Here's Preston from the 34. He'll try to split him. Does. Breaks free. Look out. Won't touch him. Hello, end zone. Preston. So Steve Preston healthier today than he has been most of the season. 67 yards and another Wolverine touchdown.
How about a play that started out with Michigan having 7 guys, 8 guys, and finally 11 guys on the field, turns out to be for 7 points.
Revis. And it is long about right now, that Wolverine fans at least can start thinking about those dreaded Buckeyes. That's next Saturday, because right now Steve Preston and the Wolverines are pulling away. And next week you'll see Preston matched up against Ted Ginn Jr. of the Buckeyes. Don't miss it, folks. The ABC Sports presentation of college football is brought to you by the Principal Financial Group. We understand what you're working for. Chrysler, inspiration comes standard. The new Singular, raising the bar. And Taco Bell, think outside the bun. Celebration beginning, and there's a young man, Matt Gutierrez, underwent shoulder surgery just before the opening of the season. Came down with that sore shoulder, replaced by the freshman. Chad Henne hasn't looked back. Gutierrez says he's going to stay right here, going to stay on a football team, likes being in Ann Arbor. Picked up by Jordan. Jordan makes a nifty return out of it to the 27-yard line. Well, we mentioned next week, it's the showdown of the Big Ten. Michigan against Ohio State. And here is Ted Ginn Jr. World-class speed on the field. And Steve Preston will bring a little to that dance, too. Man, what a showdown that's going to be, Gary, between those two guys.
Well, Ohio State has found a semblance of offense because of number 7 getting some more snaps.
Now Northwestern on the quick snap and run for a first down.
Northwestern will probably now go to the hurry-up. Remember, they burst onto the scene in 2000 with Zach Kustak running the hurry-up, no huddle. The big change, if you say Northwestern runs the same offense as they always have, the change has been to huddle up, slow it down just a bit with the spread to help the defense a little bit.
Herron now with 148 yards after that 13-yard gain. He'll come again, and he is whacked by Lawrence Reed.
And the defense I'm talking about is Northwestern defense. When you go no huddle and hurry up all the time from the spread, your defense just doesn't get enough rest on the sideline if you're not moving the ball.
Second down, Akins off to the left along with Horn. Bazinet's pass is complete for a first down to the Wolverine 44-yard line. Akins, the receiver.
Well, Brett Bazinet, freshman All-American 2 years ago, struggled last year. Seems to have found his game. Looks very comfortable. You know, he's not going to be Peyton Manning ever, but he's a very serviceable quarterback and very comfortable playing Big Ten football.
Looked like he was opening a computer on his wrist, rather than the old-fashioned wristband. High tech, rolling hard left, keeps it. He'll step out of bounds at the 40-yard line. On the day, Bazinet is 19 of 35 for 181 yards. He has not thrown a touchdown pass. Henney, 19 of 26 and dead on here in the second half. 187 yards and 2 touchdowns. 1 to Avon and 1 to Bruston. Braylon Edwards on the day, 7 catches for 54 yards. Mike Hart, 23 carries, 151 yards. Second down. Here's Heron on a cutback.
Boy, he falls
First
forward.
down.
Doesn't he fall forward?
Oh, wow. Alan Branch. Well, even if Northwestern loses this game, a chance to go to a bowl, but they must win their next 2. They must win one at home in Evanston against Illinois, and then go to Honolulu and beat Hawaii. And forget the fact that Hawaii gave up 70-some points to Fresno State last night. That was on the mainland. They must use different players when you go to Hawaii.
Well, they have this thing called a beach there that a lot of guys notice when they go there.
Here comes Bazinet rolling right, incomplete. Threw it into the
it goes
Michigan
all
side.
around that island, that nice beach. When you go there, it's a heck of a home field advantage.
I mean, those guys go down there and notice those bikinis and all that, huh? And time permitting, the thrifty Colorado Postgame report. John and the gang will get you all ready now for the Wisconsin game.
And in case you're wondering, if you thought you only had to win 6 games to be bowl eligible, since you play the extra game, you must win it. You must win 7 games to be bowl eligible.
And that means that Michigan State must beat Wisconsin, or they're not going to be bowl eligible because they're in the same situation. Bazinet, incomplete. Intended for Thompson. Well, let's find out if Kansas is doing anything against the Longhorns. What's going on with that one, John?
Brent, surprises all across the nation, but none bigger than this one right now. Ryan Luke goes 22 yards to Charles Gordon. That gets it down to the 1-yard line. From there, Austin Wabusi scores, and Texas trails Kansas in the 4th quarter.
That's nothing, John. Just think about what the Horns did last week. I mean, Texas got them right where they want them now. They're behind in the 4th quarter. That is a shock, folks. Kansas was a 3-touchdown favorite.
Prior to the snap, offside, defense number 96. That's a 5-yard penalty. It remains 3rd down.
So it'll be 3rd down. Now, what I want to tell you about that score down there in Texas is here is our attendance, 111,000 plus in the Big House. 6 games they've averaged over 111,000. An NCAA record is with this 3rd down. Northwestern comes up to the line of scrimmage now. So the handoff, fumble, scooped up on that far side, but the whistle had sounded. He was probably out of bounds. That's Grant Mason who had picked it up, and Jordan was the running back who was on the field for the Wildcats.
Jordan going left, ball's in his left hand. Ball pops clearly loose, and it is available, but what happened was Mason had his foot out of bounds when he picked it up, and that's why the last possession Northwestern had it, they keep it.
4th down and 7. Fires back, 1st down, as he put the ball in the hands of Jonathan Fields, the junior from Sweeney, Texas, which leads me back quickly to that Texas story. Michigan fans want to keep an eye on that Texas story. That could point the Wolverines down toward Tempe in the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl should Texas suffer another loss. At the moment, Texas would appear to be just slightly ahead of Michigan, and that, of course, we're thinking Wisconsin to the Rose Bowl, obviously, in that situation. But there is that second bid out there, hanging out there for one of the big teams. And that is a huge score as far as Wolverine fans are concerned right now. Fields is the receiver on that.
Leon Hall came up with a good hit. The Michigan defense. Again, you're playing the spread. You must be physical with the receiver. And Marlon Jackson and Leon Hall have been very physical. Interesting, the big game coming up next week against Ohio State. They've taken Marlon Jackson quietly out of the game. They do not want an injury late in this football game.
Throws it away, and it'll be third down for the Wildcats with 5:55 left here in Ann Arbor.
Being very safe with their key players. Gabe Watson out of the football game. I doubt if we'll see Chad Henne. I doubt if you'll see Braylon Edwards anymore in this game. And they take Marlon Jackson out of the game and Ernest Shazer out of the game. Very good coaching. The grunts have to still play, though, the inside guys.
Oh, sure. And you know there's going to be some seniors run in here late. There's 15 overall. Burgess makes a stop at the 10, but it's a first down. It's going to be first and goal now for the Wildcats.
Nice little play that Northwestern runs. You got a good running back. You got the running back here. The receiver will go this way. The running back crosses with them. A little confusion over the middle. It's like a pick play over the middle. Fields actually blocks the guy. That could have been called, but that is a staple when you have a running back that can catch the ball. Little rub pass inside.
Jordan's the running back. Cuts to the middle, to the 9-yard line, and it will be second down and goal. Massey with the stop.
Brett Bassany that time looked back as if he could have kept the ball on the mesh play and kept it and gained yardage. Let's see if Mike Dunbar saw the same thing.
Thompson and Horn out to the left. Fields and Akins to the right. Bassany fires, deflected, incomplete, and it will be third down and goal.
Can't throw the ball high over the middle of the field. That's only about a 6-yard throw, and when you throw them high and hard, those usually get tipped up in the air and intercepted.
Gary mentioned good coaching. That's a reflection on Lloyd Carr and his entire staff. When you come here and you watch Michigan through the years as closely as we have, you see the development of players. You see youngsters who are like young horses. They have to be broken down, and by the time they leave Michigan, they're very well-schooled football players. Just short touchdown as he reaches out. Northwestern scores, and that was a great reach by Brandon Horn, the junior from Farmington, Michigan.
Another one of those Detroit Country Day football players recruited to go to Northwestern, a private local school here. 3 of them on this football team.
Howell's on for the extra point. Tacks it on. And it's 42-20.
Remember, we talked about throwing the ball over the middle to keep it down. This time, Bassany does a nice job of keeping that ball low in the stomach. That's what you do. When you throw the ball in the middle of the field, slants, keep them down.
.448 left in the fourth quarter.
There's been a change in the Big House in the last 2 years, and that's been the turf. Gone has been the regular grass, and this artificial turf has been put in, Brent. And listen to this. If they win, if Michigan wins today, they'll remain undefeated. They've never lost here in the Big House since they put this turf in. 2 perfect seasons in a row.
Yeah, it's been remarkable. I think the last team to win in here was Iowa more than a couple of seasons ago, and they're going to close out this year unbeaten as they bring the kickoff back with Grant Mason returning it. And our Pacific Life game summary, Michael Hart, 23 carries today for 151 yards. He broke this one, cutting back to the right for 34 yards. Michigan's longest run of the season, scoring a second time from 4 yards out, and then the 15-yard pass, and Hart bursts in. So along with his 151 yards rushing, he has another 20 yards of receiving here today. And here comes the backup quarterback now for the Michigan Wolverines. It is Clayton Richard, the sophomore from Lafayette, Indiana. We talked to Lloyd yesterday about the possibility of Richardson transferring to another school because a quarterback has brought him in, and Underwood is the ball carrier, the running back. We talked to Lloyd Carr about the possibility of him transferring. He sat him down and said, you know, the best thing you can do is stay right here with the program. Come through the season. I'm going to try to get you some playing time. Then after that, when we come to the spring or so, we can sit down and we can talk about it if you still want to transfer. You're going to get some snaps before the year's over. So Richard has stayed right here. He is a young man out of Indiana. I know the rumors have linked him to going down to the Hoosiers. He's a good thrower. He's a one-time baseball player, Jack Arute.
Yes, Brett. In fact, that's one of the things that say that's how Clayton Richard got his zing, because he's a pitcher. And he made his living for his high school team at McCutcheon High. He was an all-star pitcher there. His fastball, 94 miles an hour.
A fastballer, huh?
Yeah.
Left-handed fastball. I had heard rumors that he might give baseball another try here at Michigan, and he's going to pitch this year, and that pretty much will hurt his quarterback chances if he does that.
Underwood stretches, breaks, daylight. Hines busted him first, and he kept on going and picked up a few more. And now he is out of bounds at the 33-yard line. Here's another young man who lost his starting job to the freshman Mike Hart. Underwood was a little nicked up. He has kept his head in it. And now this 47-yard run. And here is Underwood closing out his career. One of the 15 seniors. And what a great ending to break one like that, Gary.
Well, you know, this season was supposed to start. Matt Gutierrez was named the starter 5 days before the opening game. Underwood was the starting tailback. First 3 games, things changed. Competition in this Big Ten, boy, you miss a beat, there's another guy ready to take your spot.
Underwood's down shy of the 30. And John, I know Michigan fans, they want to know what's happening with Kansas and Texas right now.
Well, Brent, big shocker continues to get bigger. Brian Luke back to pass, plenty of time, lost this one 73 yards, a couple of missed tackles, and Mark Simmons is off to the races. Looks like he's going to score, gets caught from behind, down at the 2-yard line. From there, Luke to Lionel Anderson for the touchdown. Kansas up by 10 now. Brett.
John, as far as BCS Bowls are concerned, that is a huge game. The Tostitos Fiesta Bowl has been courting Texas for a couple of years. And if Oklahoma was going to wind up in the Orange Bowl for the national championship, then certainly Texas was at the very top of the list of teams they were considering in Tempe. And now I believe that this will push Michigan back toward the forefront, provided they have to go down and beat Ohio State. And remember the Big East.
Illegal formation on the offense. They had less than 7 men on the line of scrimmage. That penalty is declined, 3rd down.
The Big East gets an automatic, and of course they're playing that huge game with Boston College leading West Virginia.
It also is time to be very happy if you're a Utah fan, because that was one of those teams that was closing in from behind Utah, and Utah remains undefeated. So now Michigan wins 2, Utah keeps winning. It's going to be very interesting.
3rd down with Tim Bracken checking in, and they also have gone to another senior quarterback. Britton has now checked in. He will finish it up here for the Wolverines.
We talked about the out of whack. That's where it was at halftime. Michigan comes out. Oh, that's more like it. 38 rushes, 233.
So it is Spencer Britton who is wrapping this one up. The 6th year he's out of California. 6'5", 218. So Lloyd making sure that all 15 of the seniors are going to make it on the field here before this one's over. The last home game for this senior class, which features, of course, Marlon Jackson and Braylon Edwards. 2.5 minutes to go, and we've got a timeout.
We talked about what was key for Michigan and Northwestern. Would they be able to handle Braylon Edwards? Edwards did enough to allow Hart to run for 151, 3 touchdowns. They were able to keep the big play against Braylon, but Michael Hart, with the 3 touchdowns, proved to be the difference in the football game.
4th down. Clayton Richard back in to set the screen. And the clock stops here with 2:27 and a flag down with Tim Brackett, the receiver on that play.
Holding, offense number 54. That penalty is declined. The ball goes over on downs.
All right, Gary.
Time for
the mad move. What do you got here, lad?
Well, we looked far and wide, but our mad move of the day, if you were here to watch the introduction, Big Brent was down on the field, and 72 rows later, Brent worked his way up to the press box, out of breath, but he did the job.
Out of breath, looking for water. Had you all poised to do the Outback Steakhouse lineups. You did a great rehearsal on those, lad. Thanks down to our truck. A lot of folks have helped us out. Steve Biden, the director, and of course the executive producer of college football for us, Bob Goodrich, as we close out the Michigan home part of the schedule. We'll see him on the road next week at Columbus, Ohio.
Let me ask you, you got Wisconsin winning this afternoon against Michigan State. Do you like Wisconsin in that football game?
I do like Wisconsin. I think they're really focused, Gary. I might like Michigan State if John L. had his quarterback healthy.
Drew Stanton hurt, might come back later, but not this football game. It doesn't look like.
Maleo is in as the quarterback for Northwestern. He will bring the final minute and a half down as the.
Interesting, Brent. If Michigan State had held on and beaten Michigan, and they had the lead late against Ohio State, they'd be playing Wisconsin for a possibility of going to the Rose Bowl today. That's how close this league is.
I want to go back on a very solid point you made. With Texas apparently going to lose today in a shocker against Kansas.
Yep.
Utah figures to jump back up to 6 in the BCS. Now remember, if they finish in the top 6, they get an automatic bid, which would put them on the road to, let's say, the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl, and then it could be Utah against Boston College, depending on what happens in that Big East contest down there, or the winner of the ACC. Of course, we're going to have to wait and see who winds up with the numbers 1 and 2 spots. Auburn is going to jump up. They have a very, very tough schedule ahead. And Maleo throws it out of bounds, and we're down to the last 42 seconds.
The clock is running on an incomplete pass there. That was a little different. Or did he catch it right near the goal? He did catch it right there. We couldn't see with the Michigan bench right near the sideline. He did catch that football. Well, Ohio State, Michigan closing, and Ohio State, those two guys right there get a chance to go back to play in the shoe one more time. Looking forward to that game again.
Yeah, it's always a great game.
We were there when Ohio State beat Michigan to go to shot at the national championship, and they're back again to play Michigan.
Nice ovation as 15 seniors play for the last time for Lloyd and the Wolverines, and our Chevrolet players of the game. Noah Herron and Michael Hart, 2 outstanding running backs. 151 yards as Michael Hart's streak of 200-yard games comes to an end, but he still scores 3 touchdowns in a win, and Coach Carr is with Jackaroo.
Well, Coach, 30 minutes is always good as long as it's that last 30 minutes,
well,
right?
It's not as good as 60 minutes, and we got some work to do this week, but we came back in the second half and played well. I don't know if it was the bye week or what, but we certainly didn't come out offensively, made too many mistakes, penalties, all that type of thing.
But you did say goodbye to a pretty good group of seniors, and now you get to turn your attention to a road game against the Ohio State University.
Well, yeah, we've had great senior leadership all year long, and now we got a chance to go down and play in the greatest rivalry in college football.
Good luck. We'll see you there, Coach.
Thanks, Jack.
Brent, that's why they call it the big one.
All right, Jack. Thanks a lot. And once again, it was 42-20 Wolverines win it. ABC Sports is online at ESPN.com. Search ABC Sports. Wisconsin and Michigan State still to come. Can the Badgers stay unbeaten? We're about to find out. Now let's send it to John and the gang in New York. Take it away, John.
Grant, thanks a lot. You look at this Michigan Wolverines team, and obviously you guys find them very amusing, but this is a team that has to be looking back right now and saying, you know, they're going for an at-large berth in the BCS. They need a little help along the way. They're getting it. Texas is losing in their game, but they still have to look back at that Notre Dame game and say, where were we?
Yeah, sure enough. But you know what? They lost early, and they lost to a team, Notre Dame. That's not embarrassing. Notre Dame's a good football team, but they had their hiccup along the way. They've recovered nicely, and like Coach Carr said there, you know, we came out, I don't know what it was, the bye week, whatever. I think a little bit of it had to do with the fact that Noah Herron and Northwestern is not a bad football team.
And then if you're going to lose and you're going to pick a time to lose, guys, it's going to be at the beginning of the year. And that's why I think what's keeping Michigan in the hunt right now. They came out and they were a little sluggish in the first half. And a lot of times after a bye week, that's common. You're practicing against your own guys. You're coming out. You're a little lethargic. You see, oh, Northwestern, no big deal. It takes you coming in, getting a good halftime speech at halftime, coming in, you get all firing on all cylinders. Michael Hart getting it done on the ground again.
Salt Lake City right now, you can see they're warming up and they are cheering. And the reason is Utah, if Texas manages to lose, with Michigan winning, Utah and Michigan, their hopes now for an at-large bid get larger.
They do get larger, but there's time left. Even though there are other teams out there that shouldn't. How, you know, in the SEC, what happens if you have a once-beaten team out of there? Maybe Auburn loses. What about Georgia running out there? So maybe Utah isn't guaranteed a spot over there. I'm just trying to build a case for all those strong conference teams who've been beaten one time.
And are we really looking at a Texas team for the umpteenth time in a row that has missed a BCS opportunity and at-large berth? They have never played in this. And this is something that's going on with the Mac Brown teams. They have a shot. They look great. They're always going to drop the ball against Oklahoma. But here again, way too close of a game against Kansas. They're the only team in the Big 12 North doesn't have a shot.
$15 million right now on the line. The Longhorns about 4 minutes and 12 seconds to go. They're down 3 points. I bet they come back.
Mac Brown, though, would have a tough time explaining. Vince Young, as you said, has just scored a touchdown, so they're within the hunt right now. We'll continue with more scores and highlights after this message and a word from our ABC station.